suspension. Drivers who refuse to be tested can still be prosecuted for a DUI based on other evidence. The Kansas Department of Health and Environment reports that last year there were 207 injuries from fireworks in the state. It's really important to make sure that kids are supervised when shooting off fireworks, and that after you shoot them off, let them soak in a bucket of water overnight. The City of Wichita ordinances say that fireworks can only be shut off between the hours of 10 a.m. and midnight through July 5th. Violating the fireworks ordinance will result in a $250 fine. The police non-emergency line is 290-1011. Here's Doug Downs with the sports.
The Kansas City Royals will start a 3-game series with the Cleveland Indians beginning tonight at the K. The Royals will then be on the road over the weekend, the July 4th weekend, at the Washington Nationals. The Kansas State football team has gotten another verbal commitment from a 2020 recruit, this in Carver Willis, a 6'5", 260-pound offensive lineman from Durango, Colorado. Baseball on the air tonight. It is the All-Star Game with the Sunflower Collegiate League showcase at the Eck. Things will get underway at 6 o'clock with a home run derby. Then the East and West All-Stars will start at 7 o'clock. You can hear the game on KGSO. From the KGSO Sports Desk, I'm Doug Downs.
You've driven by forever, but you've never stopped in. I'm talking about Barney's Pharmacy, your Health Mart pharmacy at Central and Zoo Boulevard. Barney's Pharmacy has been Wichita's trusted source for prescriptions, home medical needs, and diabetes supplies since the 1980s. And if you're wondering how Barney's Pharmacy compares with your current prescription provider, Barney's website name says it all. Barney'sDiscountDrugs.com with free citywide delivery, pharmacy, home medical, and groceries. Barney's Pharmacy.
It's Mary from Wildwood Cellars. Our pure elderberry concentrate is especially popular this time of the year, and people ask us what makes ours so much better than the rest, and I have to say it's how we make it, so that none of the good properties of the elderberries are ever lost. Nothing is ever dehydrated, and we add nothing to it. No sugars, syrups, alcohols, additives, or preservatives, just pure concentrated elderberry with less than 1 gram of carb or sugar, so you can take it straight or add it to any juice or drink of your choice. Online at wildwoodcellars.com.
You make a million tough business decisions every day. So here's the easiest one of the year. Dell's Black Friday in July is back and bigger than ever. Get no-brainer deals on the very latest computers with Intel Core processors and a huge selection of servers, electronics, and more. All with free shipping on everything. To make your decision even easier, Dell's small business technology advisors can help you find just the right tech. Call 877-BUY-DELL. That's an easy call to make at 877-BUY-DELL or visit Dell.com/smallbusiness.
Now back to the KQAM News Desk.
Members of the Congressional Hispanic Caucus say they found migrant children living in filthy conditions at a border facility in Clint, Texas yesterday. U.S. Customs and Border Protection Deputy Commissioner Robert Perez said today that changes are being made.
We have taken it upon ourselves, and now thankfully with the supplemental appropriation that has come through, we'll be able to fund additional soft-sided facilities that we've put up in addition to this outdated infrastructure.
An investigation by U.S. Customs and Border Protection now underway into what the agency calls disturbing social media activity in a secret Facebook group for Border Patrol agents. People in the group made sexual comments about Congresswoman Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez. U.S. Army tanks have been seen on the southeastern edge of Washington, D.C. At least 2 M1A1 Abrams tanks and 2 Bradley fighting vehicles are on a flat car guarded by military police in a rail yard. I'm Christopher Cruz.
Market information, Mid-America Ag Network. Corn is sinking again after a bit of a rally. July corn is now unchanged at $4.12. Some of the later months are still up, but by fractions. July Kansas City wheat down 8 1/4 at $4.26.5. September down 10 1/2 at $4.33 1/2. July soybeans down 9 at $8.76 1/2. August down 9 1/4 at $8.80 1/2. July soybean meal down $1.10 at $3.0370. July bean oil is down 27 points at $27.71. So things still do not look well for corn, wheat, soybeans. August live cattle up 65, 104.75. Later months are good. August feeders up 105 at 138.07. September feeders up $1 at 138.62. Good looks there. And hogs are doing well. July hogs up 117 at 73.75. In the metals markets, gold is up, silver is up slightly, but copper and platinum are down. August gold up $15.50 at $14.0480. Market update, Mid-America Ag Network.
Your local weather on KQAM. Brought to you by Maximum Outdoor Equipment. All equipment outdoors, from lawnmowers to snowblowers. Just south of Kellogg on West Street and online at MaximumOutdoor.com.
Here's your latest forecast on the Big Talker KQAM for this morning. Mostly sunny and 91, partly cloudy and 71 tonight. Tomorrow, mostly sunny and 92, windy with a 20% chance of showers and storms after lunch. Partly cloudy, no rain, but still breezy tomorrow night, low 73. I'm Amp Harrell, and that's your latest forecast on Wichita's big station, the Big Talker, AM 1480 and 102.5 FM KQAM.
At 11:06. It's currently 81 degrees.
Breaking news and special reports, all right here on the Big Talker, 1480 AM and 102.5 FM, KQAM.
It's time for Reason.
That's the nature of the beast right now, so let's talk about conservatism, because we can win when we talk about the ideas. And people can't argue with it, because we win on platform when we actually argue the platform, rather than go into these rhetorical bumper sticker type arguments.
You're listening to the Voice of Reason with Andy Hoosier.
It's been a long time coming. It's been a long time coming. The boys are back. The boys are back.
There's abuse in these facilities. There's abuse. This was them on their best behavior, and they put them in a room with no running water, and these women were being told by CBP officers to drink out of the toilet.
Welcome into the Voice of Reason. Oh, man, I got to say, it's great when you get to start off a show with the craziness of AOC. I mean, right off the bat, you don't even get a chance to start, and you're boom right there.
Now time for the Crazy Cortez Corner.
Oh, I got to say, I'm wondering, there's a few ways you can take this when it comes to her saying that they're drinking out of toilet. There's a few ways you can actually handle something like this. You could laugh it off. You could look into it as serious. You can take it as a true example of and take it as fact, even though there's no substantial basis. ICE is coming out and actually dismissing that claim, saying it's not true in any way, shape, or form. And I don't know what she sees. I really don't know how she views the world. I don't know how she witnesses the world and says the things that she says, because you can't. You just can't. Come on. You can't believe that. It can't be true. Now, you know that the situation and the circumstances are bad. You know that it's bad living conditions. I get it. And let's start off right here. There's a very simple solution to that. It's not passing a $4.6 billion humanitarian relief bill to try and take care of individuals that have come here illegally, that are demanding us to process them, and they're doing it in such large groves that we cannot process them in a substantial amount of time when they're beginning to continuously fill up those vicinities. There's an easier way to do that, and that's called not stepping across that border and demanding entrance. It's very simple. You can turn around and you can go the other direction. It's that simple. I'm serious. Right there. Boom. Right there. You nipped it in the butt. See, we're actual thinkers. And we think about ways to actually make things better. We think about the real solutions. And if there are too many people in a vicinity that's not supposed to hold that many people, then you would realize, gee, my life is not going to be any better sitting here and trying to be processed through this terrible scenario. I'm not going to go through that because I realize it's not worth it. And I realize that what I'm doing is not the best way. There are people that sit in lines and wait and wait and wait and wait and wait and wait for years and spend thousands of dollars trying to come into this nation legally, that try and go through and get a green card, that try and go through and get a refugee status, that try and go through and get a student visa or a work visa in some way, shape, or form. And then we have ones that just want to walk in, that sit there, demand entrance, claim they're a victim, not being taken care of properly. We need to spend billions of dollars on taking care of them with their aid, and then it's our fault because they live in bad situations. Really? That's one way you can take this, and that's the way I like to go. Number two, AOC, you got to remember, this is the same gal that said this.
I am told this is a garbage disposal. I've never seen a garbage disposal. I never had one in any place I've ever lived. It is terrifying. I don't know what to use it for or what its purpose is. Like, food scraps? Like, is this environmentally sound? I don't know.
You know, she's probably, here's my theory. Here's my predictions for you.
Andy's predictions.
My prediction of the day is that it was a styrofoam cup that she thought was a toilet. I mean, come on. If you don't even know what the garbage disposal is and you're that terrified of it, I don't know what this is. I don't know if it's environmentally friendly. I don't know if this is going to be good. I don't know. And then she turns around and says that, well, they're drinking out of toilets. They're drinking out of toilets, man. My theory is it's probably like one of those like igloo coolers, and it's white. And there's a spout at the end of it. And just like how you flush a toilet with a handle, there's a handle right there where you turn it and water comes out. And she probably saw that and said, oh my gosh, they're drinking out of toilets. That's an igloo. I don't know what that is. It's very troubling. I'm terrified. I don't know how to deal with this. It's probably not very environmentally friendly. Welcome into the Voice of Reason. 316-721-8255. We're all over social media right now, Facebook Live, YouTube Live. Make sure to check it out. Please like it. Please subscribe on the YouTube page. Say hello, say good afternoon to us. Share it onto your own page if you're on Facebook. We do appreciate that very much. I can't get over it. I can't get over it. This is the dumbness that we've literally hit the level of something I never thought we would get to in the United States. We've literally hit a third grade mentality in politics. And that's saying something when we always make fun of politicians, when we say we never trust politicians, but yet we want to trust them with all our social behaviors, with regulations and taxes and social programs and all that good stuff. But we always make fun of politicians and never want to trust them. And we've literally hit the new level of, I can't believe people are honestly this dumb. And I don't do this to critically attack personally. I'm just saying, if you really do support her, you probably have a few loose screws, because this is nuts. I cannot in any way, shape, or form believe that people are actually drinking out of toilets. And let's just say, worst case scenario, that they are. How is that the fault of Border Patrol? Let's say that she's actually right. She is not terribly terrified of a garbage disposal, and she knows what a toilet actually looks like. And, this is true. Let's just say, worst case scenario, this is true. Is that the fault of border security, or is that the fault that there are too many people and it's overrun and they can't keep enough water in there to give water to these individuals? They can't keep enough food to feed these individuals, and it's because they're just overrun. So now you're going to sit there and criticize Border Patrol, who goes through hell, by the way, day in and day out, trying to round up individuals coming across illegally. Andy, they shouldn't be doing that anyways. You like big government. It's dumb. They're trying to keep America safe. They're following the laws. They're trying to process people. They're trying to round them up and stop them from crossing the border illegally. They're doing their job. They don't have to go through that kind of crap. And for a congresswoman from New York City to come into a quote-unquote concentration camp, which is another stupid argument, to come into a concentration camp, quote-unquote, and then say that Border Patrol is sexually attacking her, which wasn't the case. Apparently there's a private ICE Facebook page to where they can leave comments to each other, and they made some sexual comments about her. That's one thing. Sexually attacking her is another thing. So you lied there. Then you come in to misrepresent and say that people are drinking out of toilets. If that is the case, which I do not believe it is, but if that is the case, is that the fault of border security trying to punish individuals because they don't like them? Or is that the Border Patrol saying, you know what, I don't have any water for you, so if you want something, you're going to have to drink it out of there because I don't know what to do for you? You're not supposed to be here in the first place. We don't have enough resources for you. You're demanding that we just give you everything when you waltz into our country. What the hell do you want from me? Welcome in, 316-721-8255. I got a lot to get to today. We're going to try and get through as much of it as we can. We have a couple great guests today. Steve Brown, he's going to be joining us at 12 o'clock after the Bill O'Reilly report at 12:15. He's going to join us for the 12 o'clock hour, talking about some festivities going on in the next few days for the Independence Day celebration on 4th of July in Park City. That's going to be a lot of fun. We also have at 1 o'clock Mary Holland. She is a specialist on the HPV shot, and I know it's a very interesting discussion when it comes to the HPV and vaccinations. Vaccinations still coming up in the media here in the state of Kansas again on many that do not like the vaccination expansion with the two new shots that they're including for mandatory for children. And actually, Kansas is on the lower end of the spectrum for the amount of kids that are actually vaccinated. Do you like that? Do you not like that? I want to get into that in hour number 3 today. So we have a lot to get to, plus some statewide political issues, some federal political issues, but the phones are lighting up, so let's go right to your calls. What do you say? 316-721-8255 on the Shocker Pools hotlines. Line number 1. Good afternoon. Who's this?
Hi, Andy. This is Helen.
Helen, how are you?
I'm doing just great, and I hope you are too.
Absolutely.
Well, my daughter told me that she's heard that what these toilet things are in these so-called concentration camps are based from the environmentalist wackos. It's a combination environmental sink and toilet setup. So it's a sink. You use the sink, and on top, and then the water that goes into fill up the toilet. So it saves water.
So it's one place. So it's really, before it's even getting into the toilet, it's not like getting a cup out of the toilet bowl. It's a little faucet on top of it, so you can actually drink from that because it's just water. Look, I mean, and look, the plumbing still happens in your house. You have the same pipe that goes into your shower, that goes into your sink, and goes into your toilet. So the water's uncontaminated before it gets into the bowl of the toilet. So that's all it is. It's a sink on top of the toilet then.
Yes, that's what my daughter told me.
Interesting. And if that's the case, then she's really ignorant because she has no idea and here's the fascinating part. She's there watching this happen, witnessing these things. And if that's the case, then she's obviously not very bright or very inclusive when it comes to actually witnessing things.
Observant.
Exactly.
Well,
Thank you. Yes.
She didn't know what a garbage disposal is, so she probably has never seen one of these either, so she doesn't know what it is.
Well, and it's probably environmentally unsafe as well. So there you have that. Helen, I appreciate that. That's interesting. I have not heard that one, as that they have the sink and the toilet together to where the sink's on top. I mean, it makes sense. Why have two different plumbing things when you just need one? Boom, there's the water. Do your thing.
I am told this is a garbage disposal.
I love this. Let's go back to the phones. Line number 2. Good afternoon. Who's this?
This is Eddie.
Eddie, how are you, sir?
Andy, where in God's name did Congress get the oddball, totally out of this world people that they don't even speak reality?
They don't. They live in La La Land, and it's insane. Now, here's the thing. Again, I don't necessarily see her as a properly elected representative. She is. It's like, it's not my president. No, I get it. She is a representative, but she got elected out of a district with 770, 780, 800,000 registered voters in the Bronx district. She got elected with a turnout of 15,000 votes for her. Out of 800,000 registered voters, 15,000 people showed up for her, and that's how she won that seat. So this is nothing more, and you want to talk about activism, you want to talk about local engagement, this is the perfect example. When you do not show up to vote, this is what happens, and you elect really, really not very bright individuals, because that's what can slip through if you're not actually paying attention.
Now, is AOC, is she Mexican descent?
I believe so, yes.
And I know that Beto guy went down to Mexico and badmouthed the United States.
Sure.
You know, you know what? I am just, I'll just plainly say it. I am so sick and tired of these damn non-white people doing nothing but bad-mouthing the United States. And if nobody wants to say it, I'm going to say it, because that's exactly the way it is right now.
Well, it's the attack. It's now the norm that and you're right. It's not and that's not a racist attack, by the way. That's just a statement that people of different descents now think it's okay and it's justified and it's normal. It's now in the norm to attack privileged white individuals, quote unquote, because the nation's run by white people, and therefore you can attack them, and it's okay. And we hate America because that's what it was based on. And everybody that has been a victim in this nation, except for white people, which is dumb and obviously completely ignorant of all history as well. But that's what they feel is okay. So you're right. There is an attack on the nation, which bleeds right into what I wanted to talk about going into this segment. Then we got off the AOC tangent for longer than I thought. But here it is, according to the new Gallup poll, that we have now hit a new low on American pride going into the 4th of July, where only 45% of the polled individuals say that they are extremely proud of the United States. Now, that could be a loaded question on how they actually answer, or how they actually ask the question, but with only 45% of people actually extremely proud of being a U.S. citizen and being proud of their country, we hit a new low when it comes to pride in America, and it's because of things like this, where it's okay to attack your agency like ICE trying to defend. It's okay to play the victim. It's okay to attack white people. It's okay to attack the nation. It's okay to try and force people to not be able to wave the flag. We've now hit a new low of actual American pride. That, to me, is a problem.
Did you know that Nike put out a sneaker?
Yes.
With a Betsy. Yes, and it's down on his knees, queer saluting flag Kaepernick guy. He calls up Nike and says, "Remove those shoes." And Nike says,
Nike did it.
I'll remove those shoes.
Yeah, we're going to talk about that tomorrow. Yeah, exactly. We're going to talk about that on our Patriotic Day tomorrow going into the 4th of July because it's a sad story. And you're right. I mean, one spokesperson that they pay millions of dollars to, he doesn't own them. He's just being paid to represent their product, and they bowed at his will, which is very odd to me, the fact that they would do that. So it was a great idea to come out with it, and then the fact that they retracted it is really sad. So I do want to get into that tomorrow in our Patriotic Day because that's where we're at. And it really bleeds into here. We're not allowed to be patriotic. We're not allowed to be proud of the country. And if you do talk about the country, all you need to talk about is the bad things that we've done, who we are as a nation on the negative level, and all the victims that have actually survived or haven't survived this nation. So, Eddie, I appreciate it very much. It's a sad ordeal. And this is why we need a patriotic show to bring nationalism back, to bring patriotism back, because that's what we need in the country. If it's low, we got to raise it up, baby. We got to pump up them numbers, and that's what we're going to do right here on The Voice of Reason. Great to have you along today. It's on a Tuesday, the Post Monday rolling along here. We got today and tomorrow off on Thursday, back at it Friday, as we got a lot of stuff to get to here at the state level, the national level, all over the board. Your phone calls as well. I'd love to hear from you right here on The Voice of Reason. Stay right here.
This is The Voice of Reason with Andy Hoosier on the Big Talker, KQAM.
I was shocked to read this headline on USA Today's site. Caught your teen sexting? Don't freak out. Study found it can be healthy. Kim Commando with your Tuesday Consumer Tech Update, brought to you by Simply Safe, the best security system for your home, period. Don't live in fear. Get yours at simplysafekim.com. As the mother of a teenager, I've often spoken to my son about the dangers of sexting or sharing sexually explicit pictures and videos. But University of Texas Medical Branch researchers say that sexting is a healthy part of growing up. They say sexting between older teens should be viewed as, quote, healthy relating. That's just nuts. These researchers need to get out of the lab. Relationships between teens change quickly and often with a ton of emotions. All you need is one sexually explicit photo or video to be shared on Snapchat, and who knows what that teen might do next. No, sexting is not healthy. Being judicious is. I'm Kim Commando. For years, I've been telling you about my printer of choice, the Epson EcoTank 4750. It's revolutionary, it's wireless, and a complete all-in-one printer that's 100% cartridge-free. Now, I don't know about you, but I used to hate having my print jobs interrupted to replace an ink cartridge. Now, there's no more hassle with the Epson EcoTank 4750. It comes with up to 2 years of ink right in the box. That's enough to print up to 11,000 color pages. That's the equivalent to about 120 individual ink cartridges. If I had to go buy 120 individual cartridges, well, that would cost me about $1,500. I love my Epson EcoTank printer, and I know you will too. And from now till June 30th, buy any EcoTank printer at epson.com/EcoTankKim and get free overnight shipping when you use promo code EcoTankKim at checkout.
Offer valid within the 48 contiguous states. Exclusions apply, subject to availability.
On the next Mike Gallagher show, the president is asking the National Park Service to allow military tanks and other armored vehicles on the National Mall for the big 4th of July celebration. Of course, the lefties and the Trump haters say this shows what a dictator President Trump is. Also, a restaurant owner wrote an op-ed saying that maybe people in the Trump administration deserve to be spit on. We've got that and a whole lot more. Join us for the next Mike Gallagher show.
Mike Gallagher, tonight at 8 p.m., right here on the Big Talker, KQAM.
You're busy working. Now get busy saving. It's easy at your authorized Bobcat dealer, White Star Machinery. For a limited time, we're offering cashback rebates up to $13,000 on new Bobcat excavators. Or take advantage of 0% financing for 48 months with approved credit. And we'll give you up to $8,000 back. Don't miss these limited time offers with cashback and 0% financing. Stop by your local White Star or call 866-587-7442 today.
White Star, get the job done.
It's that time of year when the grill is always the best cooking option, so stop by your favorite Yoder Meats location to pick up some great meat for the grill. Steaks, chops, burgers, brats, marinated chicken, we've got it all, plus a nice variety of specialty items that you won't find anywhere else. Our Yoder Meats bundles and butcher bags are great options for buying in bulk and saving, and for a special treat, how about our homemade cinnamon rolls, cakes, and cookies? Don't forget the snack sticks for a quick bite on the go. Follow us on Facebook for all the latest information and specials. Taste the old-fashioned flavor at Yoder Meats in Yoder and 3 locations in Wichita.
Starseed is your one-stop shop for superior cover crops this planting season. We offer excellent cover crops that help capture unused energy and convert it to value. At Starseed, we have just the solution to improve soil health, conserve water, or minimize crop inputs. We even provide custom blend packages. Call Starseed today at 800-782-7311 or visit our website at gostarseed.com for all your seed needs.
Join me for your movie reviews this Saturday morning at 9 on Fat Guys at the Movies, right here on the Big Talker, KQAM.
There's abuse in these facilities. There's abuse. This was them on their best behavior, and they put them in a room with no running water, and these women were being told by CBP officers to drink out of the toilet.
I am told this is a garbage disposal.
That never gets old. That never gets old. We're going to use that till the end of time. I'm told that's a garbage disposal. I'm told that's a toilet. No, it's actually an igloo cooler there. There it is. Glad you know. Welcome back into the Voice of Reason. Welcome in 316-721-8255. 316-721-TALK. Here's some big news going on in Kansas. So let's get to a Kansas update.
Today in Kansas.
All right, I'm ready.
Oh, man. It's going to be a fun show today. So, the Kansas Republican Party, as you know, is growing. And as we work on trying to get candidates ready for next year, as we start getting ready for elections next year with the U.S. Senate seat, with our House seats, with our representative seats, we have some big stuff going on in Kansas. And will the Republicans be able to make a big lead and a big surge? Well, according to the story as of yesterday evening, the Kansas Republican Party has officially announced, as the breaking news of the day, has officially announced a new executive director for the Kansas Republican Party, and it is the communications director for Senate President Susan Wagle, Shannon Golden. So congratulations to her. We're actually going to have her on the show Tuesday next week to talk about the new position and the importance of the election coming up next year. So we're looking forward to chatting with her, but she is excited about expanding the Republican majorities in the legislature, winning back the 3rd congressional district set by right now is sitting in with Sharice Davids, and is ready to expand the base. Quote, it's projected there will be a record turnout of Kansas Republicans in the 2020 elections. I look forward to working with the Kansas Republican Party team and Republicans across our state to make that a reality. She has a master's degree in journalism from the University of Boston, was the district director of Indiana Millennials for Ted Cruz, and along with the intern for President Pence's gubernatorial campaign in Indiana during those elections. So she's been around for a while. She's come here working with Senate President Susan Wagle. Great gal, and she's going to do a great job at it as being the new executive director for the state Republican Party. Congratulations, Shannon. We're going to talk to her on the show here Tuesday next week, so get ready for that one as we continue to grow, baby. Continue to get more people involved with the state Republican Party, getting you pumped up and ready to go here as we don't see like AOC styles getting elected here in the area, because that would be bad. I don't want people concerned about garbage. I wonder if they'd be concerned about like crop circles here in the state too. I don't know.
Here's the latest from the KQAM News Center.
A scheduled event featuring Vice President Mike Pence in New Hampshire today has been abruptly canceled. The Vice President's office says his plane never left Washington. White House correspondent Sarah Westwood with the latest.
A source close to the Vice President tells CNN that Vice President Pence was called back to the White House today, but says that it's no cause for alarm.
A senior administration official says this is not related to the President or Vice President's health or to national security. But officials aren't saying why the New Hampshire event was canceled. The House Ways and Means Committee today sued the IRS and the Treasury Department to get President Trump's tax returns. U.S. Customs and Border Protection has begun an investigation into what it calls disturbing social media activity uncovered in a Facebook group for U.S. Border Patrol agents. And the Russian military says a fire on one of its deep-sea submersibles has killed 14 sailors while the vessel was in Russian territorial waters yesterday. I'm Christopher Cruz.
This is the sound of a blizzard from the amazing DQ Summer Blizzard menu with 7 flavors, like new Sour Patch Kids, which sounds like the first home run of summer. Your first cannonball. Or your first road trip to the Grand Canyon. That's what the DQ Summer Blizzard menu really sounds like, with exciting flavors like new Sour Patch Kids and favorites like Brownie Dough. DQ, happy tastes good. At participating locations.
Clean living. Most times, it's easier to achieve it for our cars than for ourselves. After all, Valero top-tier certified quality fuel is just around the corner to keep your engine running cleaner, better, and longer. So if you're not up for raw beet juice today, at least Valero can make sure your car is fueled clean. That means you'll get where you want to go and need to go. And your car will feel great getting you there. Find a station near you at ValeroCleanGas.com.
If you
Mid-America Network News. The Kansas Republican Party has hired a member of Senate President Susan Weigel's staff as its new executive director. The Topeka Capital Journal reports that Shannon Golden will handle the state's GOP day-to-day operations. Golden had served as Weigel's communications director. She replaces Jim Joyce, who left after the 2018 election to become the spokesperson for freshman U.S. Representative Steve Watkins of Northeast Kansas. The Kansas Supreme Court ruled last week that cities have the power to raise the age for buying tobacco products, even though the state law sets it at 18. The unanimous decision overturns a lower court order that blocked Topeka from enforcing an ordinance increasing the age for buying tobacco to 21. The Supreme Court said nothing in the law prevents a city from setting a higher age. More than 20 cities and counties in Kansas have set the age at 21. I'm Stephanie Austin.
The Hits of Foreigner, live one night, August 17th. Seven Clans First Council Casino in Newkirk. All your favorite Foreigner songs in an unforgettable night. Get your tickets at the Seven Clans Players Club, online at sevenclans.com. Don't miss The Hits of Foreigner, August 17th. At Seven Clans First Council Casino Hotel in Newkirk.
All right, welcome to F-150 Radio. Hello, Miranda.
Ford F-150's terrific. Now let's get specific.
Okay. The high-strength military-grade aluminum alloy F-150 has best-in-class towing.
For campers and boats, for homecoming floats.
And best-in-class torque.
F-150's packing what the competition is lacking.
Nicely done.
Enjoyed it a ton.
The Ford F-150. It doesn't just raise the bar, it is the bar.
Best-in-class claims with properly configured vehicles. Class is full-size pickups under 8,500 pounds GVWR based on Ford segmentation.
Come to Park City for the 4th of July. Car show, parade, inflatables, kids' water games, ice cream social, watermelon feed, face painting, RC car racing, concert with comedian Von Fry, Toto Chaos, and 10-day wish. Fireworks, and it's free. Come to Park City on the 4th.
Sponsored by Park City Convention and Tourism, Air Capital Delivery and Warehouse, Murphy Tractor and Equipment, Cox Business, Chisholm Trail State Bank, Midwest Scrap Management, and many more.
Here's your latest forecast on the Big Talker KQAM for this morning. Mostly sunny and 91, partly cloudy and 71 tonight. Tomorrow, mostly sunny and 92, windy with a 20% chance of showers and storms after lunch. Partly cloudy, no rain, but still breezy tomorrow night, low 73. I'm Amp Harrell, and that's your latest forecast on Wichita's big station, the Big Talker, AM 1480 and 102.5 FM KQAM.
At 11:35, It's currently 84 degrees.
I'm America's Digital Pro, Kim Commando. Join me Sundays 11 to 2 right here on the Big Talker, 1480 KQAM. Now back to the Voice of Reason with Andy Hooser.
Your only local conservative talk show. The Voice of Reason with Andy Hoosier, here on the Big Talker, 1480 AM and 102.5 FM, KQAM.
Hey, welcome into it. 36 minutes past the hour. This is The Voice of Reason. I'm Andy Hoosier. Great to have you for the ride today. Doing it on a post-Monday, getting ready for the holiday. I know you're like half zoned out, half tuned out already, trying to get your stuff done, trying to get home, trying to get ready to do the barbecue and everything. It's going to be a fun weekend. We're going to spend more time on this tomorrow because that's what we're going to do tomorrow and have some fun with it. But I do want to briefly touch on, first off, this study and this poll that came out about American pride hitting a new low, which is sad. It really comes down to, I think that's a loaded question. I don't necessarily like those types of polls because, I mean, what do you mean by American pride? Are you patriotic? Do you love the country? Do you hate the country? Do you have a different perspective of the country? I mean, in today's times, it's such a weird line that you really just can't say, I love the country, because some say, yeah, I love it, but we need socialism, which by definition means that you hate the country, but you say that you actually love the country, which is a very weird position to be in because we've never really been in that position before. We're a capitalist nation. We're not a utopia. We're not a tyranny. We're not a dictatorship. We're not a monarchy. We're not a socialist nation. And yet people now praise those sorts of things and want it to be America as they continue to praise America. So I think it's a loaded question, personally. But regardless of how you look at it, the fact that we only have, according to Gallup, here's what the story says. As Americans prepare to celebrate the 4th of July holiday, their pride in the U.S. is at the lowest point since Gallup's first measurement in 2001. Which isn't too terribly far back, but still. While 70% of adults overall say they're somewhat proud of the nation, to be an American, this includes less than half, at 45%, who are extremely proud to be American, marking the second consecutive year that this rating is below the majority level. Democrats continue to lag farther behind Republicans in expressing extreme pride in the United States. These findings are exploited, according to Gallup, further when the measurement of the public's pride in 8 aspects of government and society: American scientific achievements, military, cultural, arts, and gender, the most pride, with the U.S. political system and health and welfare system garnishing the least. I mean, that makes sense. The political system tanks right now. The health and welfare system is in turmoil because of the direction we've gone for the most part. And they love the culture and gender and the art stuff. So, I mean, I guess that's something to be prideful of. We have a lot of artsy things. That's cool, I guess. But it really needs to be looked at on how we look at Americanism. What does America stand for? What do we actually support? What do we fight for? And what are we proud of as a nation? Are we proud of the fact that we are a unique nation that does not do socialized medicine, unlike many other nations in the world? We do not do crazy social programs, unlike many other nations in the world. We do defend the right to the media and the press and freedom of speech and freedom of religion. We do defend the right to Second Amendment rights, unlike what Kamala Harris wants to do with doing her executive action to try and repeal the Second Amendment if she had the opportunity to do so, to try and force a Medicare for All platform. If you really look at it, and this isn't me just being, political bias. I mean, this is truly objective. If you're looking at what America stands for, what we've done, what we've fought for, what we fought against, and what the message and the symbolism of this nation, what it's supposed to represent, really the entire platform of the Democrat Party is anti-American, if you want to look at it that way. Medicare for All is nothing that we should be involved in, and the fact that they're advocating for it means that they hate the uniqueness of what America is. Therefore, are you really patriotic? That's something to look at. Then you see pictures like and I shared this on the social media page, on the Voice of Reason page on Facebook, that there is now the head of the DNC, the Democrat Party, the head of it, who took a picture, a selfie, and put it on Twitter because he found the Antifa handbook, the anti-fascists, the ones that just beat up a conservative journalist, the ones that wear the masks and go in and cause issues in the streets, that vandalize things, that say they're going to overthrow the government, that say they're going to overthrow Trump, that's okay verbally, physically abusing people on the street who do not agree with them, the Nazis that they are. because they want to quote-unquote bash fashion, bash fascists. Yes, the head of the DNC, instead of shunning these individuals, he took a picture and said, oh, this puts the fear into the heart of Donald Trump and his supporters. And he took a picture with the handbook for Antifa. That's who we're dealing with. They're embracing the crazy. They're not trying to shy away from it. And then, of course, you have like AOC that is totally crazy, and they continue to try and accept her, and they have a hard time doing so. But then I look at it because I'm very distraught by that. I'm one that loves my patriotism. I love the flag. I love America. I love talking about patriotic things. It's one of the few things that brings a tear to my eye is talking about patriotic things. But I'm curious as to why we're lacking patriotism or proud to be an American, even though we're divisive. Even though that one side disagrees with the other side, one side thinks the other side's un-American or unpatriotic, one side thinks that the other side's a bunch of Nazi fascists, whatever the case may be, with all this division, yeah, it kind of sucks. At the same time, I want to read you a story that's right on KansasCityStar.com, or the Kansas City Star's website right now, with the headline where there are two different rallies that are going to be taking place, and they're in Dodge City. And it is on one side of it, it is the Kansas Revival. It's a church organization that is going to be rallying for family values, traditional family values, anti-abortion issues, more on the religious, social, conservative side. And, oh, by the way, there's a couple of the potential U.S. Senate candidates on the Republican side that will be partnering up with them, with Jake LaTurner, our state treasurer, who has confirmed, and Roger Marshall, U.S. congressman, who's potentially going to jump into the race. And both of them are participating with Kansas Revival at their rally coming up to promote traditional conservative religious values for the family. At the exact same time, on the other flip of the coin, in the same town in Dodge City, at the same time, the Kansas Unity Coalition that hypes up and defends and tries to promote and advocate for the LGBTQ community will be doing a rally at the exact same time. Now, tell me how that's not the most American thing that you've ever heard in your life. Obviously, some people like one side, some people agree with the other side. The majority of my listeners are going to be supporting like the Kansas Revival with the church organization and the traditional values. There may be some that support the other side, but regardless of where you stand on the issue, I give them both props. I hope that it goes off smooth. I hope that they both rally and hoorah and get everybody feeling good, and then they go about their day. I'm not a big one to do rallies, or I mean, we did do a rally last year, and we may have to do another one here soon, but I'm not big on like getting all riled up like that because I don't want it to lead to something stupid. But regardless, with two organizations on polar opposite sides doing a rally in the same town at the same day at the same time, is not that not like the most patriotic thing you've ever heard? Because we defend the right for anybody to have their voice heard. We may not agree with it. We think it's completely dumb. We think that some people are completely brainless. We think that some are completely ignorant, whatever the case may be, and that goes on both sides of the aisle. We have the right to speak our mind. We have the right to express our values. We have the right to express our views, religious views, political views, personal views, whatever they may be. You have the right to express them. And even though I despise the other side, and AOC I think is one of the most unintelligent human beings I've ever heard on a national stage in any way, shape, or form, I will defend the right for her to say it. I don't think she should be in office advocating for it, but I think she should have the right to say it because we get to make fun of it and it's entertainment value for us. But nonetheless, I will defend her right to say it. Is that not the most patriotic thing? So on the downside, on the Debbie Downer side of this, we see that American pride's dropping because people are so politically tense, people are so angry, people are so fired up, people don't like actually working with one another. It's very polarized and very divided right now. At the same time, we see two polar opposites rallying in the same town at the same time at the same place because they feel they have the right to do so. And I hope that both of them succeed and feel better about themselves, and I hope both of them do very, very well because that's the American values right there in action, baby. Right there. We get to see it all come into play, all in one nice little bow. So I am very patriotic, and I'm very proud of our nation because even though we are tense, even though we are divided, even though we are polarized, we're seeing our, not democracy, but we're seeing our representation, we're seeing our rights come into play with something like this, and I couldn't be happier. Obviously, I support the Kansas Revival. I hope they have a way bigger crowd, 5 times more people, personally. But you know what? At the same time, we're seeing two sides of it, and I couldn't be happier because that is our system in act. That is the way we get to do it. We get to rally. We get to make our voice heard. We get to make our plea and cry to other people to hear it. They get to listen. They get to digest about it. Our elected officials get involved. They get to see what's going on, and then we go about our day, and we get to continue to fight the fight each and every day on both sides of that aisle. I couldn't be happier. 316-721-8255. So I am very patriotic. I am very happy. And let me tell you something. If I would have gotten this Gallup poll, I would have been one of those that pushed the button, said that I am very proud of my country, and I am very proud to be an American right now. Because, yeah, we have some issues, but at the same time, we're seeing our system in act. In process. We're seeing it act right now, and I think it's perfect. I think it's awesome. Now, we have some issues to do because right now we have people that are not very proud of this nation, that do not like to be Americans, and they're the ones trying to bring other non-Americans in to change the system because they don't like what the system is. To me, that is un-American, and it's not people who come here to say, I love America, I want to be part of America, and just saying, it's a different place and I get free cool stuff. And that's not what this nation's about. Again, if you're going to be, to me, I go to the deeper level. If you're going to be patriotic, you have to go down to the roots of what patriotism actually is, what the American values actually are, what American symbolism actually is, and you're proud of all of that, and you love all of that for the meaning of, not who's actually running the government, not who's saying really dumb things, not what the pop culture is of the day, but what the message is that America tries to portray each and every day in its roots. And if you do that, then why not be patriotic? Why not be proud to be an American, regardless of whatever kind of the hot topic of the day is actually happening? 316-721-8255. We'll take a break, 47 minutes past. Wrap up hour number 1. We have the Bill O'Reilly report coming up at the high noon, as we've started that as of yesterday. There's a lot more to get to today as well. There's some updates when it comes to our legislature, when it comes to Medicaid expansion. Yeah, I know. It's still going on, even not during political season and during legislative season. We also have an update from the Attorney General when it comes to the shenanigans polled in the Senate chambers in the state of Kansas, and we'll see what's going on there as well. Plus the vaccine debate we'll do in hour number 3 as well. It's all coming up right here in The Voice of Reason on a post-Monday on KQAM. Stay tuned.
The Voice of Reason with Andy Hoosier on the Big Talker, KQAM.
Market information, Mid-America Ag Network. Well, we're seeing some two-sided trade with corn today. Back up, back down, back up, back down. Currently up. July corn up 2 1/4 at 4.14 1/4. September up 3 3/4 at 4.19 1/4. So good news for corn. Unfortunately, not good news for wheat or soybeans. As a matter of fact, soybeans continue to struggle. July beans down 7 at 8.78 1/2. August down 6 3/4 at 8.83. Later months are all down. July soybean meal is down 80 cents at 3.04. August down 90 cents at 3.0630. Bean oil is off. July is at 27.73, down 25 points. August bean oil is at 27.89, down 24 points. Nothing in the soy complex looks very good right now. Corn is up. Kansas City wheat continues to struggle as well. July KC wheat down 8 1/4 at 4.26 1/2. September down 9 1/4 at 4.34 3/4. So we are mixed with the grains and soybeans. Livestock numbers looking pretty good today. August live cattle up 55 at 104.67. October up 50 at 106.02. Later months are all good. Feeder cattle, August up 142 at 138.45. September up 152 at 139.15. Each of the later feeder cattle months up by more than $1. So looking very strong there. July hogs up $1.10 at 73.67. August up 45 at 79.15. Now, we do see some pressure in some of the back months, but the early 3 contracts are doing quite well when it comes to hogs. Cotton is up today. October cotton up 2 points at 65.99. December up 37 at 66.95. So better look for cotton than we've seen in a while. Hopefully we'll be able to keep that going. Crude oil is down. August crude down $1.92 currently at 57.17. September is down $1.88 at 57.26. Unleaded gas, heating oil, and natural gas all tracking lower as well. Market information, Mid-America Ag Network.
It's finally time to get out and enjoy the weather, and there's no better way than in your very own swimming pool from Shocker Pools. Shocker Pools has been providing fun in backyards in and around Wichita for years, and they can design a pool to fit your backyard and budget. Get online at shockerpools.com. Check out their gallery, then give them a call to discuss how a new pool can be a part of your home. If you already have a pool and are looking for chemicals, pool toys, or anything that can enhance your summer fun, stop by Shocker Pools today, just north of Central on Webb Road. If a hot tub's more your style, see their selection of Dimension 1 hot tubs, only at Shocker Pools.
Ever wonder why Europeans speak so many languages? Is it because they use Babbel, the #1 selling language learning app in Europe? Babbel's 10 to 15-minute lessons and award-winning technology can have you speaking Spanish, French, or German within weeks.
I always thought I was bad at languages, but after using Babbel, I can tell you I was just taught the wrong way.
For a limited time, try Babbel for as low as $3.50 a month and get a whole year of unlimited access. That's BABBEL.com and select your language.
From Texas, Oklahoma, through Kansas and Nebraska to the Dakotas, Mid-America Ag Network will keep you informed of this year's winter wheat harvest. I'm Craig Mead. Listen daily as we deliver the most current, up-to-date information on the progression of the summer wheat harvest all through Mid-America. Summer Wheat Harvest Reports. They're brought to you by U.S. Custom Harvesters, Abilene Machine, P&B Insurance, your Midwest Ford dealers, the Kansas Wheat Commission, and Mid-America Ag Network. Bullish on agriculture.
News, ag, and markets. Visit us online at midamericaAgNetwork.com.
Minutes at the top of the hour. Welcome into the Voice of Reason. Wrapping up hour number one. Goes by way too fast. Way too fast. Didn't even get to what we wanted to chat about this half hour. I do want to get to in hour number 3. We have some crime rates here in Wichita. Why are we seeing crime rates higher than national average, like crazy amounts, 148, 150% above national averages, not to mention 100% above what we saw last year. So that's some scary numbers. Why are we seeing that, and what can we do to kind of resolve some of that? We'll get to here in just a little bit. Open lines to you at 316-721-8255, 316-721-TALK on the Shocker Pool hotlines. We'd love to hear from you today. Coming up in hour number 2, we have at the top of the hour, we just started this yesterday, but the Bill O'Reilly report, that's going to be for about 15 minutes, getting the update from the man himself. If you haven't heard from him in a while on radio, he's back, semi-back, so we'll do that here in a bit. And also, we'll start talking about some of the festivities going on in the area, especially with Park City, and what's going to happen for the 4th of July celebrations tomorrow and on Thursday. So we'll talk about some of that coming up here in just a bit. Let's get into a Kansas update. There it is.
Today in Kansas.
All right, I'm ready. Yeah.
All right, so here's the latest. As you know, and I don't know why this made big news, but apparently it's still in the news, but the last day of the legislative session, as the rabble-rousers walked into the Senate chambers, ended up causing the issues, holding the signs, chanting, singing, interrupting business for like 15, 20 minutes. It was ridiculous. And we had to get security to go in and arrest many of them, remove the media and all the observers, because that's not accepted. That is against the rules of the chamber. And now the ACLU has the lawsuits going against the state, saying that it violated their rights to observe the chamber hearing. So this is the ongoing battle that we're seeing. And Kansas Attorney General Derek Schmidt did dismiss part of the formal complaint by saying that it did not violate the rights under the Kansas Open Meetings Act to observe business of the Senate after the visiting gallery was closed to staunch protesters, and the government transparency group said. So they're not liking this, of course, because they want it to be changed. They want to be able to make the noise. They want to be able to hoot and holler, do whatever they can, and they say it violated the Open Meetings Act for the state of Kansas. I don't know why this is so hard to comprehend, that you have the right to view it, and you have the right to listen to what's going on as long as you don't make a peep. I'm telling you, if you go into the chambers, let's say in Washington, D.C., and you listen to the House members, the Senate members, you go to the State of the Union, and if you make a peep, if you fart in those observant areas, you would get booted out because you're not allowed to make a sound. That's it. So you may have your political opinions. You have outside where everybody does rallies. Last year we did the gun rally, the Second Amendment rally, where like 400 people showed up, where I got to MC that, and you could make all the noise you wanted to. We had big speakers. We had music going on. We had people hooting and hollering. You could do it inside. There's tons of places in the state capitol. If you've ever been there, if you're not, I highly recommend you do go and witness it just a little, because it's really cool. It's really beautiful. And if you haven't gone, you can see there's actually areas even in the building where you can hold rallies. We did one again last year with the Americans for Prosperity. Had a rally, had some great speakers, had the president of AFP from the national level come in and speak about taxes here in the state of Kansas. You could do that in the chamber. Not in the chamber, but you could do it in the Capitol. But when you walk in the door of the chamber, you don't make a sound. You sit, you listen, and then you walk out. You can catch legislators in the hallways. There are plenty of ways to protest, plenty of ways to get your point across. But the fact that they got booted out because they caused an issue, they broke the rules. Again, these are the same individuals that don't like rules being applied to them in any way, shape, or form. And now they're suing because it violates the Kansas Open Meetings Act. And I don't get how difficult this can be. And there's only so many times we can actually talk about something like this before it becomes dumb. And it already has hit that level, I think. It's already kind of peaked at that level. So as we dismiss that part of it, saying that it violates the Kansas Open Meetings Act, there's still other parts to the litigation when it comes to the media being present in there and not being allowed to be booted out, when it comes to other members being allowed to go into the chambers. But the Kansas Sunshine Coalition for Open Government saw intervention by the Attorney General after the session was interrupted. Ron Kiefover, the president of the Sunshine Coalition, said the Attorney General's office notified the organization by letter that concerns the Senate denied the public an opportunity to observe proceedings in violation of the act that would require further investigation. So this is not going to go on. Here's the big question. Who's going to pay for all this? This is now going to be paid for by you, taxpayer Joe, to defend the state, to go to court and try and say that yahoos that were causing a scene should be allowed or not allowed to cause a scene when it comes to the chambers when they're actually doing business. Let me tell you something. If you're actually interrupting business with them doing their doings, then you're violating the rules and you should not be allowed to go in there. And I would take it a step further and say that you probably shouldn't be allowed to go in there for a certain amount of time. You're suspended. Remember high school? Remember middle school? When you were like talking in class and the teacher said, hey, and then you keep talking and they say, hey, shut up. And then you do it again and they're like, all right, go to the principal's office. And then you go to the principal's office, you come back, and then you do it again, and you're like, all right, we can't deal. You're out of my class. They gave them 4 or 5 chances. You don't get that because now you're an adult, and you should act like an adult, and therefore you should only get 1 chance. And if you do that, you should be suspended for a certain amount of time. So there's that going on as well, and we'll see kind of how much money we spend on lawsuits for defending our Open Meetings Act here in the state of Kansas and how far they actually want to push this thing. Because you know that next year when it comes to Medicaid expansion, which there is an update for that, and we'll do that here in a little bit. When there is an update for the Medicaid expansion, that if they don't get it through again, they're going to cause havoc more so than what we even saw this year. More so than dropping the quote-unquote leaflets with the blood stained on them. It was red paint or whatever, but dropping the blood-stained leaflets all over the Capitol and causing issues for people to have to clean up. More so than having a major banner calling out people because they don't like them. More so than protesting in the hallways and going into the chamber and causing issues. You're going to see absolute riots next year if they don't actually expand Medicaid. And I'm okay with it because it just shows the temper tantrum that young children have and how we need to actually act like adults again. But you're going to see them absolutely lose their minds next year in this session if they don't expand Medicaid. So we'll get some of that in hour number 3 as well. We got a lot to get to, your phone calls as well here on The Voice of Reason. Why? Well, because it's almost a holiday and it's a patriotic time and it's a patriotic show, and we just love doing that. We'll do that when we come back. Top of the hour news. We got Bill O'Reilly. We'll be back in just a few minutes right here on The Voice of Reason. Stay tuned.
City for the 4th of July. Car show, parade, inflatables, kids water games, ice cream social, watermelon feed, face painting, RC car racing, concert with comedian Von Fry, Toto Chaos, and 10-day wish. Fireworks, and it's free. Come to Park City on the 4th.
Sponsored by Park City Convention and Tourism, Air Capital Delivery and Warehouse, Murphy Tractor and Equipment, Cox Business, Chisholm Trail State Bank, Midwest Scrap Management, and many more.
The ultimate golf experience is at Willow Bend Golf Club in Wichita. Our people make the difference, and you can tell when you look over the course. with single member packages available, young executive memberships, collegiate memberships, and student memberships. We truly offer something for everyone. Willow Bend Golf Club, a private club with a personal touch. Call today about becoming a member at 316-636-4653. That's 316-636-GOLF, or go online to willowbendgolfclub.com.
This is a Steckline Communications station, K273CX, FM 102.5, and AM 1480 KQAM, Wichita proud.
Former North Carolina Governor Pat McCrory here from WBT Charlotte, filling in for Bill O'Reilly. It's Tuesday, July 2nd, 2019, and you're listening to the O'Reilly Update. And here's what's happening today in America. Fading Democratic presidential candidate Beto O'Rourke speaks with migrants in Mexico. The FBI says domestic terrorists could target July 4th celebrations across the U.S. American airstrikes kill 8 al-Qaeda terrorists in Syria. Washington, D.C. and San Francisco ranked the worst-run cities in America. Coming up, Bill's message of the day, but first to the border. Fading Democratic presidential hopeful and former media darling Beto O'Rourke speaking with refugees in Mexico, touring a migrant center in Juarez just across the border from El Paso. The failed Senate candidate spoke with asylum seekers for 15 minutes, vowing to expedite the immigration process for hundreds of thousands hoping to enter the United States. The Department of Homeland Security issued a dire warning Monday saying, quote, domestic terror groups could be plotting attacks against 4th of July celebrations nationwide. In fact, the FBI posted the bulletin on their official website saying radicals could use the holiday to target civilians at parades or festivities across the USA. Over to the Middle East, where Pentagon officials confirmed Monday that U.S. airstrikes targeting al-Qaeda training facilities in Syria killed at least 8 terrorists who were actively planning attacks against American civilians. The operation comes just days after counter-terror groups confirmed an ongoing ISIS plot to smuggle foreign fighters into the U.S. through our southern border. And how about this? A new poll reveals what most of us knew all along, including this former mayor. Washington, D.C. and San Francisco are officially the worst-run cities in the United States. What's ironic about this is that the former mayor is now governor of California. The survey factors in traffic, corruption, crime, and more obstacles to local residents' day-to-day lives. The best-run city in the U.S.? Nampa, Idaho, population 90,000. Coming up, Bill's message of the day, and something you might not know.
Millions of Americans have been diagnosed with cancer or a serious illness. If you are one of them and money is a problem, you're not alone. It's simple. If you own a life insurance policy of $100,000 or more, then Life Guide Partners can evaluate your coverage for free to see if you qualify for cash now when you need it the most. Be ready to take down this number. If you own a life insurance policy of $100,000 or more and you are living with a serious illness, then Life Guide Partners can evaluate your coverage free to see if you qualify for cash now. So write this number down, 1-888-GUIDE-50. Totally free to call. Get rid of those insurance premiums. Stop paying them. Consider turning that life policy into cash. The number again, 1-888-GUIDE-50. 1-888-484-3350. 1-888-GUIDE-50. Call now. Now, the O'Reilly Update, a message of the day. California is in trouble. The nation's largest state is a beautiful place. I think I visited every county in California. You have magnificent coastline. You have mountains. You have a very nice climate. There are 37 million citizens in the state of California, by far the largest state we have in the Union. 55 electoral votes, so California is very powerful. It is the world's fifth largest economy, behind the USA, China, Japan, Germany, and ahead of the UK. Median housing price in California, $544,000. Lowest median housing in the United States, Ohio, $169,000. Now, the rise of problems in California has to do with the way the state is being governed. As you know, about 33% of people living in California are on welfare. It has the highest homeless population in the USA, estimated to be 135,000 people living on the streets. That's 22% of the entire U.S. homeless population. 27% of Californians were not born in the USA. The state has the highest number of billionaires, but the middle class is disappearing because of housing costs, taxes, crime, and illegal immigration. Did you know that San Francisco is the highest property crime rate for any major U.S. city? And now the specter of disease in Los Angeles and San Francisco is rising. Some LAPD officers will not even go into the homeless camps because typhus has broken out there. 45% of Californians either live below or at the poverty line. 45%. The state government does have a surplus because of its high tax rate, but that money is not being used to correct the problems. Therefore, many professionals in California are leaving, going to tax-friendly states like Nevada and Texas. So the infrastructure in California is wobbling, to say the least. A case can be made that the far left leadership in Sacramento is leading the state right down the drain. California is a one-party state, as Republicans have very little influence there. All in all, California is a magnificent place. If you haven't visited, you must go. But it is very troubled, and it may be the wave of the future. State government has a responsibility to all its citizens, not just a selected few. You cannot tax and tax and tax and expect hardworking wage earners to live in your state. That's not going to happen. New York State also losing people to Florida, North Carolina, and other lower tax rate states. Now, the solution to California's massive problems is discipline, financial discipline, and basically setting rules. You cannot live on the street taking heroin every day and ruining the city landscape. You cannot do that. If you can't find a place to go, the state should provide one. But enough is enough, as the state of California is in big trouble. More analysis and commentary on BillO'Reilly.com. You can watch the No Spin News there every night at 7 Eastern, and we'll be back in a moment. Americans all over the country are voting with their feet, fleeing high-tax states like California and New York for states with lower tax burdens, including Texas and Florida. If you are thinking of voting with your feet, you need to check out realestateagentsitrust.com. At realestateagentsitrust.com, you can find a great agent in your hometown who will help you sell your home quickly and for top dollar. And wherever you're looking to move, you have great agents there too. They'll work on your behalf to find you a great new home and be your advocate so you can buy without the stress, worry, and travel of buying remotely. All agents have been heavily vetted for their past performance and, like you, are fans of this program. They are also waiting to welcome you into their communities and help you find your dream home. So get moving with realestateagentsitrust.com. That's realestateagentsitrust.com.
Former North Carolina Governor Pat McCrory here from WBT Charlotte, filling in for Bill O'Reilly. And now, the O'Reilly Update brings you something you might not know. There are currently 25 Democratic candidates hoping to unseat President Donald Trump in 2020. And if we could point to one single unifying theme to their message, it would be this. Hey, vote for me. I'll give you free stuff. You want free health care? It's yours. Free college? You got it. Free cash through reparations? Why not? If you're an American voter, the Democrats have something for you, absolutely free of charge. At least that's what they want you to think. Anyone with even a basic understanding of economics knows nothing is free. Take health care. Americans spent $3.5 trillion on health care in just 2017, or close to $11,000 per person. Those costs don't disappear once someone in Washington declares that something is free. Doctors and nurses need to be paid. Hospitals need to be staffed around the clock. Medicine needs to be developed, tested, and manufactured. Guess what? That all costs money. American colleges and universities are no different. Are professors and administrators going to forego their salaries? Of course not. But it's more than just a matter of dollars and cents. In addition to the taxes that would be required to fund these so-called free programs, there are other ways in which Americans will pay that we don't initially see. Will pay in freedom. Choice is usually the first casualty when the government takes over an industry. You need only look at the American public school system to see where hospitals and universities would be headed if the Democratic presidential candidates had their way. Parents sending their children to public schools have no choice as to what school they attend. Many students, both rich and poor, are forced to attend failing schools for no other reason than the fact that they live in the wrong zip code. Imagine living in a country where the doctor you see is chosen for you without regard to your personal preferences. That's where we're headed. We'll be right back.
Well, you've been hearing about gold all over the news, and prices keep going up. Experts warning a recession may be coming, and it's time to prepare. A recent analyst this week says he sees gold going up hundreds of dollars per ounce to hit $1,700 an ounce. That's why I recommend that you contact the Hartford Gold Group now to learn more. To get you started, the Hartford Gold Group will give you a free silver coin. All of my radio listeners will get it. And if you're listening right now, you can get the coin from the Hartford Gold Group. No purchase is necessary. All you have to do is call them. 877-444-GOLD-GOLD. 877-444-GOLD-GOLD. Give them a call today to claim your free coin and get the information. Available for a limited time only. 877-444-4653. 877-444-4653. Please call today.
This has been the O'Reilly Update, and I'm former Governor Pat McCrory from WBT Charlotte. Be sure to listen to my podcast, Inside the Game of Politics with Pat McCrory, on radio.com, iTunes, and wherever you listen to your favorite podcast.
It's time for Reason.
That's the nature of the beast right now, so let's talk about conservatism, because we can win when we talk about the ideas. And people can't argue with it, because we win on platform when we actually argue the platform, rather than go into these rhetorical bumper sticker type arguments.
You're listening to the Voice of Reason with Andy Hoosier.
It's been a long time coming. It's been a long time coming. The boys are back.
Yeah, buddy. Hey, welcome into the Voice of Reason. It's our number dose right here on the Big Talker, broadcasting live out of the Big Talker on 1480 on the AM side, 102.5 on the FM side, KQAM. We are simulcasting all over social media as well. Facebook Live, YouTube Live, all that good jazz. Welcome aboard. Great to have you today on a post-Monday, and we are into the pre 4th of July, which, as you know, is the greatest holiday of the entire year. We will talk about some of the patriotism tomorrow. Tomorrow's show is truly going to be our most patriotic show that we do because we love it and we are the most patriotic show on radio. So why the heck not, baby? We'll talk about some of the good stuff and the fact that the story we read last hour, the Gallup poll, American Pride is at an all-time low since they've started studying or at least tracking this since 2001, which makes sense. I mean, after the whole 9/11 thing, you start tracking American Pride. Are you patriotic? Do you love the country sort of thing? And now we're seeing a dip in that. Is it because of divisiveness? Is it because of the direction we're going? Where are we at in the nation? So we'll get into some of that tomorrow as we talk about the American Pride. And speaking of American Pride, I am really excited because there are always things to do. By the way, I got to say a fun story. So, as you know, Wichita city limits, you're not allowed to shoot the fireworks up above 6 feet because, well, you know, apparently bad things will happen. So we're going to celebrate the awesomeness of becoming independent, fighting off tyranny and lack of regulation and freedom, and the freedom and liberty that we have by creating awesome regulation and rules over us and telling us what we can do. So there is that going on. So I'm driving home last night at like 9:30 at night after a meeting that I had to go to, and I'm driving and I see multiple places last night shooting off very large fireworks within city limits. So well done on those regulations. Glad they're working out for you guys with the city on that one. As we go into the patriotic holiday, tomorrow starts off a lot of the events around the area. And I want to talk about one that's coming up, starting off tomorrow night, going into the 4th of July day and festivities going on really all day long, which is going to be fantastic up in Park City. It's the Salute to Freedom celebrations in Park City, and in studio with us hanging out talking about this and more, Mr. Steve Brown. Steve, how are you, sir?
Oh, doing pretty good.
Hey, very good, along with Bob Robertson. Bob, great to have you in here, sir. How are you?
Great, thank you.
Hey, very good. I appreciate you guys coming in here. The Salute to Freedom, Park City. This is where a lot of the festivities is going to be in this area. Talk about, first off, where did this all come from? Where did this get organized? How long has this been around with the great 4th of July celebration for Park City?
We are on year number 19. This thing's been around a while. We had this event handed off to our committee from another organization that was running it, and they pretty much canceled the event. And we just didn't want to see the 4th of July end in Park City, so we took it up with our committee, and we've been doing it now. This is my 11th year, and this organization's had it for 12. So
how fantastic! Now, talk. Why the change, and what organization is running this now? Talk about the background a little bit here.
Well, we were pretty much, the event was about to come to a close. There was going to be nothing for the 4th of July one year, and a group of people said, we are not going to let the 4th of July end in Park City. We took up and went with it. I kind of came on board as I thought I was going to be a vendor, and I liked the event so much I just volunteered for it. And 10 years of volunteering, and here we are.
And here you
but,
are.
Yeah, it's a very, very cool event. It's been around a long time, and we have a lot of people show up for it.
I can imagine. I mean, this is one where everybody gets excited. I mean, you want to talk about the American Pie wave flagging, flag waving, good old boy stuff. This is the way to do it on the 4th of July. So the festivity starts really Wednesday night, but all day on Thursday. I mean, you guys got a whole lineup of stuff going on, right?
Yeah, we're pretty much bell to bell. We have a break in the afternoon on the 4th just because we had people start complaining too hot. Nobody was there. So we're 8 a.m. till 2 p.m., then we're 6 p.m. till fireworks at 10, and we also have movies in the park. Wednesday night, just so where else can you watch movies in the park and watch people shoot up fireworks all around you?
Yeah.
The movie we got's really cool. I can't say the name, they won't let me, but I'll just say it's an earlier version of a movie that's in the theaters right now.
Version number 1.
Version number
that's right.
1.
I like that. No, that's awesome. So the organization, how big is the committee that puts this on now?
We're about 8 people now, and then come the day of the event, we have a couple of churches kick in. They give us about another 30, 40 people to put the thing together.
Sure. I love it. Well, let's go into it. Let's talk about some of the events coming. As you mentioned, the movies in the park. And now, how does that work? Is it just like the big screen? You guys got stuff set up for the movie?
We have a 12-foot inflatable screen, and then we've got a DJ sound system that sits up next to it. So it's this is our first year trying this, so come out, check it out, see how we do the first time around.
Absolutely.
We're on round number 1. We've got a shaved ice vendor coming out. We've got a couple of food vendors coming out. So come on out, buy yourself a snow cone, and check out a movie.
It is definitely time for the snow cones. I forgot all about that. I haven't had one yet this year, and now I'm craving one, so thank you for that. Thursday morning, you guys kick it off right at 8 a.m. What's going to happen first thing in the morning?
Bob.
That
Bob.
would be me. Well, we're going to kick it off. We'll open the gate there at the Hat McLean Park about 6:30, quarter to 7 in the morning. Let the cars start coming in for our 19th annual car show, Salute to Freedom car show. We started the car show 19 years ago. We had 7 cars. Now we're up to 100 plus.
Wow.
Put about 80, 85 cars in the shade. So people come out and relax. We try to get everything judged and done and get everybody out of there by about 1 o'clock so they can go home and chill.
Sure.
But, yeah, we have people from, last year we had 7 states coming in for the car show.
Wow, 7 states. We were talking a little bit about this off the air, is that, it's I think the fascination and the enthusiasm with cars is rising again, because it's really hard to find car shows in the area, and it's only at certain events and stuff. But when you see stuff like that where there's 7 cars and all of a sudden there's 100 cars, people are interested, people are engaged, people love that kind of stuff. And I think it's a rising interest in the area that we normally don't see, I don't think.
We had one car, actually, as a pickup that came into our show a couple years ago, and he went on for the United States National Championship and won that. So we felt really privileged to have that car in our show.
What kind of cars have you seen there?
Oh, they range from 1901 clear up to 2019,
In 1901, like a Model A's kind of thing?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
How neat.
And they, even my wife, she has a 1936 Chevy Master Deluxe that's fully restored. Her parents did that actually 40 some odd years ago.
Sure.
So, it's just neat to see these old cars that are actually built better than most of the ones we have today.
I will second that one. I would love to get some of those back. Where it's made of like real metal and doesn't get totaled when you run into a bicycle.
Well, it's just like my wife says. For $50,000, she would rather have a '55 Chevy than go out to the car lot and buy a new car.
Sure.
You got something nostalgic. It's got the real metal. as you say.
Absolutely.
So it's a good time. We'll have. Usually there's about 20 of my personal family members that, help us out with the car show.
Okay.
And, but like Steve said, it's a full day adventure. This year we incorporated Roaring Entertainment, and it's like a NASCAR track, and you can have 6 people on the console at one time racing these remote cars that are, they're about 2 feet long, wouldn't you say, Steve?
Yeah, they're 1/10 scale.
Yeah.
Okay.
And that's going to be a lot of fun. They'll actually be in a tent set up, so you're in the shade.
Sure.
But yeah, Roaring Entertainment, NASCAR driving. Here we go. We're ready to launch it off.
Ready to rock and roll with that one. I love it. So what's so far that you've seen there, what's been your favorite classic car?
My favorite class, now you're going to get me in trouble with all the other classes. Probably I'll say the specialty class, because those are the ones that are not quite built yet. They're not fully finished, but you can see the imagination and a lot of money going that way.
Sure. Have you seen like the authenticity of these where they try and make them as original as possible, or have they really personalized them? I've heard some people get very angry, like if they try and get the 57 Chevy and they put flames on the front of it, because that's not what actually happened. So how dare you ruin the authenticity of the original style of the car, sort of thing.
You got like my father-in-law. If you dare put a hot rod motor in that 36 Master Deluxe, he would personally drop down from heaven and put a hurting to you.
Mm-hmm.
And then you've got other guys that they'll take one. A good buddy of mine, John Sinfellow, he is the gasser man. And he'll throw a big motor in, big block motor in there, and tear things up. So it's you see it both ways, and that's what's neat. You walk up and you see some stuff that is just out of this world. I can't even imagine that far.
Sure.
And there it is right in front of you.
I love it. That's going to be a big attraction. That's going to be starting at 8 a.m., going until 1, all the judging. Now, what kind of judging is going to be there? What kind of awards could be given out, or what are people competing for?
There's 17 different classes. We have 90 awards, and we also have 30 awards that the local businesses of Park City actually purchased the trophy, and they'll be awarding them now to the people that entered the show. And then we have the mayor, of course, and the police department's always a good one to hand out, because it just shows that the police are the good guys.
Sure.
And but there'll be, I think there's a total of 90 trophies and awards that'll be handed out that day. We probably give out more awards than just about any show that I've been to in quite a while.
What kind of categories?
We have custom, original, antique, and the antique from like 1901 up to 1924. We have a truck class, big truck, small truck, motorcycle, hot rod, specialty class, rat rod class, and that's been a new in the last few years, and that's going really good. Like I said, there's about 17 different classes.
How fun. I love that. That's going to be going on all day long. Now, we got a couple minutes before we got to take a break here, too, but starting at 9 o'clock in the morning is the parade as well, and that's going to be a really big deal, too.
Now, here's the deal with the parade. We need you. If you're listening out there, www.parkcityksforest.com.
Mm-hmm.
And that's number 4, spell out forest. It works either way. But www.parkcityksforest.com. Get signed up. If you've got a bicycle you want to decorate, if you've got a classic car you want to enter in a parade, if you're with an organization, a church, whatever, we would love to have you out there. We need all the parade entries we can get. We've got everything from people decorating large industrial commercial trucks to down to kids with 16-inch bicycles putting flags on the handlebars. So if you want to be in a parade, you don't have to sign up in advance. It just makes our life a little easier. But be at the corner of 61st and Hydraulic at 8 o'clock, between 8 and 9. We're going to line the parade up.
Sure.
So be there as close to 8 as you can. And the parade's about 2 miles long. It goes from Spangles at 61st and 135 east on 61st up to Hydraulic, north on Hydraulic, to McLean Park and into the park, and then we do awards from there.
Wow, that's a big, that's a nice long track. That's plenty of opportunity for people to stop by the side of the road and watch that one.
You know, if you're going to show up on the side of the road, be at the corner of my personal favorite place. Now, anywhere along the entire route's good, but 61st and Hydraulic where they turn. We've got a singer that does the Star Spangled Banner. We stop the parade, we sing the national anthem, and we send them on. And you are right there where all that happens, where the judges are at everything. If you're at the corner of 61st and Hydraulic,
right in the heart of it, that's going to be fun. A 2-mile run on that one. And how many how many people do you have in the parade right now? Do you know?
You know, we never really know. Most people show up, and we love it when they do that because, you know, every year I have a heart attack about the parade. I'll have like 10 or 15 entries, and it's like, oh, it's going to be terrible. And then every year it comes out to be, you know, we have a 20, 30-minute long parade. So, you know, definitely, even if you can't sign up online, if you want to be in a parade, this is your parade. Show up, come see us. And if you want to watch a parade, be there.
Yeah, the creativity on this one is definitely open to you to do whatever you want to do. As long as there's American flag on it, then you're all right.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I like that one. Again, it's parkcityksforth.com, parkcityksforth.com. We got just about a minute before the bottom of the hour break, then we'll get into some of the other activities there as well. But again, talk about the route for that parade. If people either want to be in it or just want to show up and watch it, where can they go?
Okay, if you want to be in it, 61st and Hydraulic. Sign up there, and we'll take you to where we start at because we line everybody up on the residential streets. If you want to just watch it, show up anywhere along 61st, east of 135 and west of Hydraulic, or else along Hydraulic from 61st and Hydraulic north to Hap McLean Park, which happens to be 6801 North Hydraulic.
Very good. I like that. Let's take a bottom of the hour break. When we come back, we'll talk about some of the other festivities going on in Park City. It's the Salute to Freedom. How many people do you think go through this in a year?
You know, we have taken account of the daytime and the nighttime, and the daytime stuff will hit anywhere from 500 to 1,000. We get 500 to 1,000 at night. So
that's what I'm talking about.
It's cool. It's awesome.
It's a party going on all day and all night there. We'll talk some more about that when we come back. We'll get your phone calls as well as we talk about what's happening festivity-wise here in the community as we celebrate Independence Day. We're showing that being proud and being prideful to be an American is not dead, and we're actually celebrating it right here in our communities. We'll do that when we come back. Stay here. This is The Voice of Reason on KQAM.
The latest news from the Big Talker, KQAM.
A scheduled event featuring Vice President Mike Pence that was to take place in New Hampshire today has been abruptly canceled, says White House correspondent Bob Costantini.
Something came up and the VP had to be at the White House, an aide says. Another White House staffer says the vice president's plane had not taken off for New Hampshire when it was determined he needed to be back at the White House. There is no emergency. The trip to Salem, New Hampshire to discuss that state's opioid epidemic is expected to be rescheduled.
A senior administration official says the cancellation is not related to the president's health or to national security. The House Ways and Means Committee sued the IRS and the Treasury Department today in an effort to get President Trump's tax returns. The Russian military says a fire on one of its deep-sea submersibles has killed 14 sailors. In a statement, the Defense Ministry said the fire began yesterday while the vessel was in Russian territorial waters. President Vladimir Putin has canceled the public event scheduled for today. I'm Christopher Cruz.
You do July 4th right, whether you're entertaining or taking advantage of a day to tackle your to-do list. Lowe's is here to help with July 4th savings. Shop in-store now and get 5 bags of premium mulch for just $10. And for 7 days only, save $9 on a twin pack of Kingsford charcoal, now just $14.88. Whatever's on your list, hurry into your local Lowe's for deals this July 4th. Do it right for less. Start with Lowe's. Mulch offer valid in-store only through 7/10. Charcoal offer valid through 7/4. Limit 5 twin packs per customer while supplies last. U.S. only. Excludes Alaska and Hawaii.
Youth vaping is a serious problem. One issue, flavored vapor products that help adult smokers switch, but may also appeal to youth. To address it, Juul Labs stopped the sale of non-tobacco and non-menthol-based flavored Juul pods to over 90,000 traditional retail stores. Learn more about Juul Labs' efforts to combat youth vaping at juul.com/youth-prevention. Juul Labs, for adult smokers only. Paid for by Juul Labs.
Cause of death.
Mid-America Network News. Competing rallies are planned for this weekend in Dodge City with two groups that have opposing views. The Wichita Eagle reports that a conservative Christian group called Kansas Revival will hold a church rally Saturday aimed at opposing abortion and protecting faith, family, and freedom. About the same time, members of a group called Kansas Unity Coalition will gather at a city park for a counter-demonstration in support of equality, justice, and equal rights, supporting the LGBT community and abortion rights. For the second year in a row, a record amount of unclaimed property was returned to Kansans last year. State Treasurer Jake LaTurner announced that his office has returned $27.1 million in unclaimed property to Kansans in the fiscal year that ended June 30th. You can see if you have unclaimed property by going online to kansascash.ks.gov. I'm Stephanie Austin.
When it comes to the trailer you're hauling behind your vehicle, whether it's a big rig or a pickup truck, MJ's Truck Repair at exit 46 off I-135 in Mound Ridge, Kansas has your back. Doonan and Chaparral drop decks, flatbeds, and heavy hauling trailers for the big rigs, along with Gooseneck livestock trailers by Barrett. And for your pickup truck, the utility line of trailers from Rice with 5x10 to 8x20 boxes. MJ's Truck Repair, Mound Ridge.
Hi again, everybody. Tony White, Augusta Flight Center. Want to talk about our flight training packages. Private pilot packages starting at just $5,900. Now that'll get you 47 and a half hours in the aircraft, 2.5 hours on our flight training device, 45 hours of instruction, also a free headset and a free home study kit. For more information on this and other flight training options, visit our website at iflyaugusta.com, our Facebook page, or you can call us at 316-733-4080.
It's Mary from Wildwood Cellars. We've won over 600 awards and titles for our wines, but the most important thing is we make wines that taste good. With over 40 to choose from, dries to sweets, meads made with honey, sangrias, and even a jalapeno wine, you'll find the wines you love at Wildwood Cellars, where you can try before you buy. The tastings are free at the northeast corner of Maple and Ridge Road in Wichita, or the main winery right next to the Mulvane Turnpike exit, or online at wildwoodcellars.com.
Here's your latest forecast for the Big Talker KQAM. Mostly sunny this afternoon, high today near 91. Partly cloudy overnight, low of 73. Slight chance of showers and thunderstorms tomorrow afternoon, mostly sunny with a high near 91. And Independence Day, slight chance of showers and thunderstorms in the morning, partly sunny with a high near 92. I'm Rich Summers. That's your latest forecast on Wichita's big station, the Big Talker, AM 1480 and 102.5 FM KQAM.
At 12:35, it's currently 86 degrees.
The political trend starts here. This is the Big Talker, 1480 AM and 102.5 FM KQAM. It's time for Reason.
There's a difference between natural growth of the economy and artificial growth of the economy. If you tax higher, then obviously there's a higher rate and you're going to get more money. But are you really growing the economy? No, you're just squeezing the same people more. You're squeezing the apple a little bit tighter to try and drain a little bit more juice out of that same apple, as opposed to having 4 new apples to be able to squeeze juice out of and be able to get more juice from them.
This is the Voice of Reason with Andy Hoosier.
Hey, there it is, 36 minutes past the hour. Welcome into the Voice of Reason. Halfway through the show already. Can you believe this? It goes by way too fast. Coming up in hour number 3, we're going to shift back into a couple major topics going on in Kansas, as there is a new discussion about new vaccinations in the state, and many individuals not liking those vaccinations. Mary Holland, she's going to join us talking about the HPV shot, which is one that's caused a lot of controversy nationwide. Not only has it caused a lot of medical issues for women, but now they're starting giving the HPV shot to guys and boys. I don't know why. So we'll talk about some of that coming up in hour number 3. But for right now, we're in the patriotic mode as we hang out with Steve Brown, Bob Robertson here with the Salute to Freedom, Park City, Kansas, going on with the festivities going on tomorrow night, kicking off, and then Thursday with the 4th of July. And Steve, we talked about the parade, major parade. I know you guys have a lot of fun with that one. And again, with how many years this has been going on, it seems to be growing each and every year, doesn't it?
You know, it year to year the parade varies. The event itself just constantly grows. The parade, though, we always have to reach out for people. So
Sure.
Make sure you check that out. Come on out, sign up for the parade. But after the parade, we've got a lot of stuff going on.
Yeah, a lot of things going on now. The park, this Hat McLean Park, is where all the great stuff is going to be. Correct?
Absolutely. Once you get past the parade, you just want to go to 6801 North Hydraulic and just hang out there for the day. We've got stuff going on all the way till 2 in the afternoon, then 6 at night till 10 at night. So.
I love it. We'll talk about some of that stuff. I mean, I'm sure a lot of fun festivities for the kids.
Well, I don't know if any of you have ever seen Troubles the Clown. He's been around town for a long time, but Troubles the Clown will be twisting balloons for you and all that, wandering around in the crowd from about 9:30 to 12 in the park.
Okay.
Then the park stuff really kicks off about 10. 10 o'clock, we've got inflatables, we've got face painting, we've got food vendors. Food vendors, we've got a little bit of everything, so be sure to come out and check that out. We've got some stage events going on, such as the awards for the parade. Going back to the awards, we've got a pageant that's already happened this year, and so the girls from that, it's what's the name of that parade, Bob, or the pageant, Bob?
That's Park City pageant.
Yeah, Miss Firecracker or something like that. But anyway,
4th of July.
Yeah, Miss 4th of July. They will announce her up on the stage. We've got a medallion hunt. That's already over with. But every year, check out our Facebook page and our web page, because we give away $250 to the winner. And this year, the medallion was found outside of the water treatment plant of all places. So,
wow. Okay.
Then,
when does that start? When do you start that?
Usually that starts about the 28th, usually about a week ahead of the event. So the medallion's been found and the pageants happen, but keep those in mind for next year and come on out, so we'll award them their prizes. We've got a pet show that takes place. If you think your dog is the coolest dog around, bring it to Park City.
Or
We've
the
got
ugliest dog.
I'm sure there are some of those.
But we
didn't mean to throw you off there, Steve.
I was on a roll.
No, so that's kind of fun. So the dog show, and this will be kind of any kind of breeds, any type of.
This is more of a fun dog. Some of our categories are best rescued pet, most talented pet.
Okay.
Well, I didn't bring the list with me, but we've got waggiest tail. They're all fun categories. So we ask you can enter pretty much any type of animal, as long as we prefer to keep like the reptiles out of it, because they don't really fit in, and we've had people bring in like farm animals, and that can be a bit tough, so don't do that. But pretty much
we don't need the dancing chickens.
No, but any household pet, bring it on out and enter it. You'll have a good time. There's no cost to enter, and you might win yourself a little trophy.
Well, that'd be kind of fun. Now, how many dogs have you done this in the past as well?
Oh,
Is
yeah.
this the first year for it?
No, this is probably
the big one.
8th or 10th year of this, and we usually have 40, 50 dogs every year.
Wow. Now, do you do like the little obstacle course thing like you do with the other dog shows, or is this like get them up on stage and show them off?
No, because we have a lot of 7, 8-year-olds that just want to run the family pet across the stage.
Okay.
So,
how fun. I love it. Very good.
Then we've got a water carnival this year. Water carnival, we've got a dunk tank, we've got water bowling, water balloons, all kinds of fun water stuff. That takes place from 10 to 2 in the park.
What is water bowling?
You know what? I've never done it. I don't know.
I'm going to have to go check this out. It sounds fun.
I understand the dunk tank, and I'm so happy nobody asked me to do that this year. You have no idea.
Don't have to worry about that one.
We're trying to sign up all the city officials for that. So
yeah. See, it's going into election year. You do it to the politicians, and that way people feel better about it. Absolutely.
And so, of course, we've got the RC car racing. Bob, you want to touch on that real quick one more time?
Yeah, the RC car racing by Roaring Entertainment. You'll be able to race 6 of you at a time at the console. You will be in a tent, so you're out of the sun, and you'll race for about a minute and a half. Then you can get right back in line and do it again. No cost on that. Actually, there's no cost on anything all day for all the events except for the entries for the car show.
And food vendors.
The food vendors. And I might also add, after the pet show, please refrain from taking your dogs to the car show. Dogs and chrome wheels just
that does not end well.
No,
doesn't end well on that one. No.
But this will be the first year with Roaring Entertainment. They've got a fantastic show that they put on, so you can actually see them on Facebook. But so we're excited to see that. So you can race your little hearts out.
I love it. They used to do that at the county fair in Ohio that I used to go to all the time. They had the RC racing, and I mean they were fast too. They were really fun to watch because they take it seriously. There's some really powerful RC cars that they can race around those tracks.
He gave us a little hint. He said, now when you steer with that steering wheel, remember at RC those wheels are really quick. So I mean you just barely move the steering wheel and you'll spin out. So drive with caution.
That's going to make it entertaining just to watch.
Yeah, cars will be flying.
So I love it. What else is going on? So you have the all the kids stuff there. You have the RCs. You have the pet show going on in Ice Cream Social as well.
Yeah, how about some free ice cream?
Yeah, cool off a little bit.
Leakers in Park City provides us with ice cream, and we just give it away.
Hey.
So, it's that one I need to mention the sponsors, if that's okay.
Yeah, please do.
Okay, Chisholm Trail State Bank and Leakers put that one together for us. So, until it's gone, we've got about, 400, 600 bars of ice cream to give away. So definitely check that out. And, if you don't get any ice cream, then stick around till 1 o'clock. We're going to do a watermelon feed, and that's free too. So free ice cream, free watermelon. How can you possibly go wrong with that?
Perfect for a 4th of July, really hot day to cool off and enjoy. I love it.
Now, if you want to do something inside, the City Senior Center is doing bingo from 1 to 3. It's a fundraising event for the Senior Center, so be sure to check that out. That's over just south of the old City Hall, right off the corner of 61st and Hydraulic. Just head south a couple of buildings. You can't miss it. It says Senior Center, and it'll say bingo in front of it. So can't miss that one.
I love it.
Then going on into the evening, we have anything else on daytime, Bob, I missed? Or?
No, I think
that's a full day of festivity right there. Yeah,
it is, absolutely.
But then it doesn't end because you guys do stuff at nighttime now as well to wrap up going into fireworks mode for that night.
Absolutely. So at 6 o'clock, more of the RC car racing. They're going to stick around until 7:30. So if you can't make it out during the day, come by in the evening at 6 and hop up behind the wheel. 6 to 10, we've got our concert. Our concert's sponsored by Murphy Tractor, Cox Business, and Air Capital Delivery and Warehouse. And we've got 3 acts this year. We've got Toto Chaos, which is kind of a cover band. I haven't seen them in person yet, so but I watched their video on YouTube. Look it up. They sound pretty awesome.
Very good.
After that, we got a comedian, Vaughn Fry. Now, I've never he's been in Looney Bin a time or two, but I've never made it down there to see him. But I hear he's pretty darn good, and he promises it will be a family friendly show. So even though it's a comedian, you can bring your kids. It'll all be good. They won't learn any new words or anything like that.
Yes, that is needed.
We'll be good.
Yeah, that is fun to see too because I've yet to be to a stand up comedy show. Never been to one. I've always wanted to go to the Looney Bin. I've never made it, but watching some of the fun stuff on Netflix. Comedy, stand up comedy especially, is really making a comeback right now, so I'm glad you guys got something like that.
We just wanted to try something different this year. Oh, I skipped something on the daytime part. Sorry, I'm going to hop back real quick. We've got a magician on the stage from 12:15 to 12:45.
Yeah.
I'll be honest, I don't know the guy's name. He comes from a entertainment company, but he's supposed to be pretty good, so come on out and check that out.
I love magicians. That's
but
right.
Anyway, back to the concert at 6. 10-Day Wish. They've been around the Wichita band scene forever and ever. So if you're a 10-Day Wish fan, no cover charge, no anything, totally free. Come on out, grab some food from our food vendors, and check out all of the. Then we get to the big part, 10 o'clock, fireworks. And our fireworks show is put on by Stellar, and they have done an awesome job year after year. So So, it is going to be an awesome, awesome evening for everybody. Make sure you bring out your own blankets, your own chairs, because we don't provide those. If you bring neither, you get to sit on the ground. So bring a blanket, bring a chair, and enjoy all the festivities.
So if you've been there in the park all day, seeing all the festivities going on in the park, that's the perfect place to hang out and watch the fireworks at the end of the night then, too, right? You got the perfect view right there?
We are, the concert stage is the perfect place to watch the fireworks from, because at the end of the concert, you'll turn around and you'll be looking right at the fireworks.
That's what I'm talking about. Good. So you have the perfect opportunity there. And really, like you said, I mean, with 10 o'clock there, 8 to 10, that's a full day of activities for everybody to enjoy and see all the fun stuff going on. It's the Salute to Freedom, Park City, Kansas, going on starting tomorrow night, going into Thursday, all day Thursday, and you're not going to want to miss this one as you guys go into this. And any other sponsors you guys want to mention? Anything else big that's going on with this?
As far as sponsors go, I'll just give you a quick rundown because we really appreciate these guys. They are very, very awesome for supporting us. And to be honest, this event would be half of what it was, and literally, without our sponsors. So sponsor list real quick. Park City Convention and Tourism, Murphy Tractor and Equipment, Air Capital Delivery and Warehouse, Cox Business, Chisholm Trail State Bank, Leakers, Midwest Scrap Management, Schofield Honda, Hatchet Buick GMC and Hyundai, Andale Ready Mix, and... did I miss anybody, Bob?
Emprise Bank.
Emprise Bank.
There you go. Good stuff. I love it. Steve, Bob, I appreciate you guys coming in here. It's going to be a great day, and I'm so glad you guys are doing this. And as you mentioned, since the city kind of stepped away from organizing it and putting it all together, I appreciate what you guys are doing, putting it on and keeping this going, because it's really needed.
I've got to thank the city because they're back in it, and they are back to providing half of our funding. They provide us use of the park. I mean, they're absolutely awesome, and they're 100% behind us.
That's
so
fantastic.
I cannot thank them enough.
I love it. Go get some more info. Sign up for the parade. Get some more info from these guys. ParkCityKS4th.com. That's number 4, ParkCityKS4th with the TH at the end.com. Steve and Bob, I appreciate you guys coming in here. You guys have fun the next couple of nights.
Hey, come out and see us for that stand-up. He'll be on stage about 7:30, 8 o'clock.
I love it. We'll have to make it out there for that.
Thank you, Alan.
I appreciate it very much, guys. Got to take a break. 48 minutes past the hour. Wrap it up. Hour number 2 here on The Voice of Reason.
You're listening to The Voice of Reason with Andy Hoosier.
Market information, Mid-America Ag Network. Corn is still up. Kansas City wheat and soybeans are still not. July corn is up 2.5 at 414.5. September is up 4.25 at 419 3/4. When it comes to soybeans, July soybeans down 7.5 at 878. August beans down 7.5 at 882 1/4. Later months are all down as well. July soybean meal down 50 cents at 304.30. August down 80 cents at 306.40. All the later months are down. July soybean oil is down 25 points at 27.73. August down 32 points at 27.81. So nothing positive in the soy complex. Kansas City wheat, July is down 7 3/4 at 427. September is down 11 at 433. So not a good look for Kansas City wheat. In fact, all three of the wheat markets are under pressure today. So we've got corn with some small gains, but soybeans and wheat having some issues. We've seen a lot of activity in the livestock complex, especially with live cattle. A lot of bouncing around there. August live cattle currently up a nickel at 104.15. October unchanged at 105.52. December down a dime at 110.57. So fat cattle are mixed. August feeder cattle up 70 at 137.72. September feeders up 75 at 138.37. So a good look for feeder cattle so far. Each of the later months is up, and some are up by more than $1. So looking pretty good there. Now, we've got a very distinct dividing line in hogs. The first 3 contracts are up. Everything else is down. July hogs up 155 at 74.10. August up 60 at 79.30. And as I said, October is up, but then after that, all the later months are lower in hogs. So we'll call it mixed numbers in the livestock complex, just as we saw with the corn, wheat, and soybeans. And cotton is up. October cotton up 32 points, currently at 66.29. So mixed numbers in the ag futures markets. Update from Mid-America Ag Network.
Are you looking to conserve water and have a beautiful lawn? This summer, convert your lawn to a warm season turf grass such as barefoot buffalo grass or Monaco Bermuda grass. Once established, these drought-tolerant grasses provide a low-maintenance lawn and will save you time and money. Contact Starseed today to learn more about our 2019 lawn and turf varieties. Call 800-782-7311 or visit our website at gostarseed.com.
This moment of peacefulness is brought to you by Rusty Eck Ford.
Price sells cars. Come out to Rusty Egg Ford to save thousands on a new Ford F-150. Not one, not two, but every new F-150 in stock. Discounted $2,500 off MSRP. And you keep the rebates up to over $6,200. That's over $8,700 off. Don't miss out on these massive discounts. Only at Rusty Egg Ford, where Price sells cars.
You know what? Price really does sell cars.
You're right, Kyle, but it's our award-winning customer service that keeps them coming back. Come see what's going on. RustyEggFord.com.
All rebates to dealer cannot be combined, plus tax and fees. Discounts from MSRP offer expires 7/30/19.
This is Dave Ramsey, and you're listening to Wichita's home for talk radio, the Big Talker, KQAM.
Hey, 9 minutes past 9 minutes to the top of the hour as we wrap up hour number 2. Welcome into the Voice of Reason. Appreciate Steve and Bob coming in, talking about what's going on in Park City tomorrow night and Thursday. It is the 4th of July celebration, which means you should be part of it, because that's just awesome as we talk about patriotism, American pride, and the flag waving that is rare, unfortunately, in today's times, and not as many people do it. Then this is the way you can do it, as we seem to be that flyover nation, and people don't take us serious. And when it comes to the most remember that poll that we did, or that study that we read, what was it, about a week or two ago, about the most patriotic states? And we were not in that. We were actually ranked like number 33, and it was a little ridiculous with how low we were ranked. Now, they did that based on military service and military activity and civic activity in the area, so that could be wide open to interpretation based on how you see civic duty and civic interpretation. If you're actually out promoting a political agenda, regardless of what that political agenda is, then how do they actually rank that? Or if you're just waving the American flag and you're proud of it, then that's something that we should be as well. But you would think that the middle of America here, Kansas and Oklahoma and Nebraska and Missouri and North Dakota and Wyoming and all these other areas around here, Colorado's a little weird, so we'll just kind of leave them out. As you know, they're a little funky, but you'd think that we would be the ones that enjoy the patriotism the most, the more traditional style, the going out and having the watermelon and shooting off fireworks and having fun and having a good old time and waving the American flag, and that's just what we do. So why would we not want to celebrate that coming up in the next couple of days, except for you're going to get those people that try and throw a fit and throw some kind of temper tantrum about one way or another. You know what's really crazy, and I don't know if you listened to Brian Kilmeade before the show between 8 to 11, and he's live there from the Fox radio studios in New York, but he was talking about the story that we had talked about months ago, and the fact that it's still going on. It's still happening. He's still accruing fees. He's still accruing a fine because the RV owner, the store owner in North Carolina that's waving the flag, and it's too big of a flag than what it's supposed to be with the city ordinance close to the highway. When it's not close to a highway, you've seen the pictures of it, it's nowhere near the highway, it's not obstructing anybody's view, but it's within that quote-unquote distance where it needs to be a smaller flag. And he said, no, I'm not doing it. I'm not taking the flag down. I'm not putting up a smaller flag. This is what I want, and this is what people need to see when they come into the area or when they drive by. They need to see it because I'm very patriotic, and I don't really care what you have to say, and I'll pay the fine, but you're not going to do anything about it, and it will stay up there. And it's caused a lot of conversation from individuals and a lot of different feedback and opinions on the topic between, well, yeah, he has the right to do that. Is it a stupid ordinance? Should they try and repeal it? I know they did try to repeal the ordinance, but it didn't go through on city council, which really means, is it the city council's political agenda? Is it the will of the people? You know what? I'm curious about what the population says around the area, because I'm sure there's going to be some that are like, we want to take it down, and others are like, I don't really care. As long as it's not obstructing your view when you're driving, then you really don't have anything to complain about. But he's not taking it down. And a lot of people say, well, he's not following the rules, and you're all about the rule of law, and you're about following the law, so therefore you just need to take it down and abide by. Others are saying, yeah, it's patriotism. Who cares? It's not that big of a deal. And I'd love to get your thoughts on the fact that it's still months later, it's still happening. He's still keeping it up. It's still flying high. I mean, it's publicity for his company, so the ones that actually support him, then he's going to get all the great publicity from that because he just doesn't care. He just doesn't care. Hey, you know what? I'm going to fly the flag, and there's nothing you can do to tell me otherwise. So as we go into a 4th of July patriotic kind of weekend, and patriotism's on the fade a little bit, is this something to really boost that morality up, or does this cause more division? Does this cause more divisiveness in a time when we're already divided, or does this help rally people? I mean, what's it going to take to get people to want to wave the American flag again? When you see Antifa members that are saying that we don't like America, when they're burning the flag, when they're trying to beat people up that carry flags because they don't like their ideology, and they say that that's fascist. When you hear people say that we shouldn't have the flag on the grounds of a school and saying the Pledge of Allegiance because that's violating freedom of speech and freedom of religion to some degree. I don't get it. I don't know. What's it going to take? I loved, not the fact that I loved in any way, shape, or form, September 11th, but if you remember directly after September 11th, we had some of the most patriotic times. We had patriotic times to the point to where the topical issue, if you remember this, the big issue was in New York City that there was littering because people had put American flag stickers on everything, on poles, on light poles, on side of buildings, all over the place, and it was causing a littering issue. To me, that's a good kind of issue to have. Now, does it necessarily fix anything? No, but you know what? The morality was there. Everybody united. Everybody loved the country. Everybody was waving the American flag and saying, God bless America. And to me, I would take having an issue of littering because there were flag stickers flying around everywhere and coming off where they stuck them than people saying that they don't want anything to do with the American flag and we need to take it down. We're seeing HOAs try and take down American flags from homes. We're seeing public venues taking down the American flag. We're seeing, by golly, we're seeing companies like Nike take away the shoes that were a tribute to the American flag because celebrities didn't want them there. That's the world that we live in today. What will it take for us to rally, for us to unite, for us to put away the partisanship and be able to come together and say we love this nation and we want to fly the American flag? What's it going to take? Because I don't know that there's anything that could be done today to us, for us, against us. I don't know if there's anything that could be done where there are some that will say that we're justified in it, that we deserved it, and that still it's our fault because of. I don't know that there is anything. We could have another September 11th, and there would be the other side right now that says, you know what, we deserved it, and we're based on slavery, so you know what, hey, a few white people died, whatever, it's cool. I mean, that's kind of what we're hearing today, right? That's kind of where we're at. And it's sad. So what's it going to take? I don't know. But the flag now is the controversial thing. Kids can't wear T-shirts with the flag on their shirt because it's offensive to some individuals and they have to take it off. That's not acceptable. It's patriotism, and we're going to celebrate that the best way we can. So we'll do some of that again tomorrow. Hour number 3 around the corner. I want to shift gears. I want to get into the vaccinations here in Kansas. I want to get into crime rates here in Wichita. I want to get into a lot of fun stuff. Get your thoughts on it as well. We have Mary Holland coming on at the top of the hour. Open lines to you the entire hour as well. Hour number 2. All done. It's hour 3 right around the corner. This is The Voice of Reason. Stay right here.
I'm so sorry to hear about your loss.
Thank you very much. I'm just thankful that Mom and Dad planned ahead and prepared for this moment. It saved me and my brothers and sisters time and money at an already difficult time.
Yeah, my parents did the same thing. And when we lost Mom a few years back, I remember how much easier it made it on all of us.
Old Mission Mortuary and Whitechapel Cemetery and Crematory would like to remind you of the importance of pre-planning. The conversations you have with family today can save your family members time and money during an already difficult time. Find Old Mission Mortuary and Whitechapel Cemetery and Crematory online today or call 686-7311.
You make a million tough business decisions every day. So here's the easiest one of the year. Dell's Black Friday in July is back and bigger than ever. Get no-brainer deals on the very latest computers with Intel Core processors and a huge selection of servers, electronics, and more. All with free shipping on everything. To make your decision even easier, Dell's small business technology advisors can help you find just the right tech. Call 877-BUY-DELL. That's an easy call to make at 877-BUY-DELL or visit Dell.com/smallbusiness.
This is a Steckline Communication Station. K273CX, FM 102.5, and AM 1480 KQAM. Wichita Proud. It's time for your latest news from the KQAM News Center. Brought to you by Phil's Coins, Kansas's largest coin dealer at 9344 West Central. Phil's Coins, buying, selling, and trading with honesty and integrity.
Authorities say that one person has died after coming into contact with a power line in North Wichita. Emergency crews responded around 11 a.m. this morning to an electrocution in the 1400 block of North Fairview, near 13th and Waco. A person working in a bucket truck came into contact with power lines. A 44-year-old South Central Kansas man has been sentenced to 29 years in prison for child sex crimes. Kansas Attorney General Derek Schmidt says that Kevin Jeter of Anthony was sentenced yesterday. He was originally charged with multiple counts but pled guilty in May of 2018 to one count of aggravated indecent liberties with a child. The crimes occurred in 2014 and 2016. The Wichita Public School District says online enrollment is now available to parents who have an active Parent View account. In-person enrollment begins July 29th. The first day of school for most students is August 14th. More information is available online at usd259.org. Here's Doug Downs with the sports.
The Kansas City Royals will start a 3-game series with the Cleveland Indians beginning tonight at the K. The Royals will then be on the road over the weekend, the July 4th weekend, at the Washington Nationals. The Kansas State football team has gotten another verbal commitment from a 2020 recruit, this in Carver Willis, a 6'5", 260-pound offensive lineman from Durango, Colorado. Baseball on the air tonight. It is the All-Star Game with the Sunflower Collegiate League showcase at the Eck. Things will get underway at 6 o'clock with a home run derby. Then the East and West All-Stars will start at 7 o'clock. You can hear the game on KGSO. From the KGSO Sports Desk, I'm Doug Downs.
Hi, this is Phil Martinez at Phil's Coins. At the shop, we talk all the time about honesty and integrity. And in our shop, we've decided that honesty means nothing without integrity. So what I would tell you is that if you didn't bring your coins to Phil's Coins, honestly, you didn't get enough money for what you have. Come see us at Phil's Coins, 9344 West Central, or online at philscoins.com.
Walking. We take it for granted until pain curbs your active lifestyle. Unique Feet's board-certified podorthist, John Galbraith, can help you get back in step.
When you go into a podorthic facility, we're kind of like a pharmacy for prescription shoes and inserts and that sort of thing. With diabetes or neuropathy, these people have exquisite pain. Oftentimes, the insert and shoe modification helps ease the pain dramatically.
Unique Feet. Online at uniquefeetpodorthics.com or at 750 South Hillside in Wichita.
Learn how to protect you and your family from fraud at a free Better Business Bureau workshop sponsored by AARP featuring former FBI agent Jeff Lanza, July 18th at 2 p.m. at Wichita's Advanced Learning Library. This is not an official Wichita Public Library event. Call 877-926-8300 or go to aarp.org/KS to register. The AARP Fraud Watch Network can help keep you and your family safe from fraud and scams. Visit aarp.org/Fraud Watch Network for news and tips on how to spot common scams and report them in Kansas.
Now, back to the KQAM News Desk.
A scheduled event featuring Vice President Mike Pence that was to take place in New Hampshire today has been abruptly canceled, says White House correspondent Bob Costantini.
Something came up and the VP had to be at the White House, an aide says. Another White House staffer says the vice president's plane had not taken off for New Hampshire when it was determined he needed to be back at the White House. There is no emergency. The trip to Salem, New Hampshire to discuss that state's opioid epidemic is expected to be rescheduled.
A senior administration official says the cancellation is not related to the president's health or to national security. The House Ways and Means Committee sued the IRS and the Treasury Department today in an effort to get President Trump's tax returns. The Russian military says a fire on one of its deep-sea submersibles has killed 14 sailors. In a statement, the Defense Ministry said the fire began yesterday while the vessel was in Russian territorial waters. President Vladimir Putin has canceled the public event scheduled for today. I'm Christopher Cruz.
Market information, Mid-America Ag Network still seeing some issues with some of our futures markets. Corn back on top. July corn up 1 1/4 at 4.13 1/4. September's up 3 3/4 at 4.19 1/4. We're still seeing issues with wheat and soybeans, though. July Kansas City wheat down 7 3/4 at 4.27. September KC wheat down 10 1/2 at 4.33 1/2. Soybeans continue to struggle. July beans down 7 1/2 at 8.78. August beans down 8 3/4 at 8.81. We're seeing some pressure on the products too. Soybean meal and soybean oil are both tracking lower as well. Well, now live cattle have straightened out, and dipped again. We saw some up and down action, and we're back down. August live cattle down in nickel at 104.05. October down in nickel at 105.47. That's liable to change again, though. August feeders up 67 at 137.70. Later months are all good. Hogs are good. July hogs up 127 at 73.85. Market update, Mid-America Ag Network.
Your local weather on KQAM, brought to you by Jewelry Savers. Conveniently located off K96 on Greenwich Road. The Kansas trusted jewelry source since 1971. Jewelry Savers.
Here's your latest forecast for the Big Talker KQAM. Mostly sunny this afternoon, high today near 91. Partly cloudy overnight, low of 73. Slight chance of showers and thunderstorms tomorrow afternoon, mostly sunny with a high near 91. And Independence Day, slight chance of showers and thunderstorms in the morning, partly sunny with a high near 92. I'm Rich Summers. That's your latest forecast on Wichita's big station, the Big Talker, AM 1480 and 102.5 FM KQAM.
At 106, it's currently 86 degrees.
It's Dana Lash, and you're listening to The Voice of Reason with Andy Hooser on 1480 AM and 102.5 FM, The Big Talker.
It's time for Reason.
That's the nature of the beast right now, so let's talk about conservatism, because we can win when we talk about the ideas. And people can't argue with it, because we win on platform when we actually argue the platform, rather than go into these rhetorical bumper sticker type arguments.
You're listening to The Voice of Reason with Andy Hooser.
It's been a long time coming. It's been a long time coming. The boys are back. The boys are back. The boys are back. And they're looking for trouble.
Yeah, buddy. Hey, welcome into The Voice of Reason. Oh, man, it's gone by so fast today. Hour number 3. Great to have you along today. Broadcasting live out of the heart of the nation here in Wichita, Kansas on the Big Talker. 1480 on the AM side, 102.5 on the FM side, KQAM. We are simulcasting all over social media, Facebook Live, YouTube Live, all that good jazz. Go and check it out, and we appreciate it very much when you do each and every day. Welcome in, 316-721-8255. 316-721-TALK if you want to join into the guest line. We'd love to hear from you this half hour. The broadcast is brought to you by the Wildwood Cellars right here in Kansas. As you know, it's not about the wine that you need to find the wine that you like, not the wine that you're supposed to like. Why? Because there is a difference. Some people, think it's a fad thing, and you're just supposed to enjoy, man. And whether you like the sweets, the dries, the semi-sweets, the sangrias, doesn't matter. Make sure to check them out. Also, the meads. I tell you this all the time. I love the mead made with the honey instead of the sugar. It's healthy. It's awesome. It makes you feel very good, and it's great stuff. Wildwood Cellars. They got 2 locations. Their main headquarters in Mulvane, just off the Turnpike, or right here in Wichita at Maple and Ridge. Also online, wildwoodsellars.com. Again, wildwoodsellars.com. Also plenty of their stuff and their products all over many liquor stores around the surrounding areas. Appreciate them partnering with us right here on The Voice of Reason. Let's get into our topic, as we have a lot to get to, and I want to try and get our guests on as quickly as possible, because this is a really fascinating topic to me. I've heard a lot of discussion, as you see in Kansas right now, the continued expansion of different vaccines, and many quote-unquote anti-vaxxers that are really fighting the expansion of new different types of vaccines here in the state of Kansas, and what should be allowed, what shouldn't be allowed. We do have the ability to choose if we want to do the vaccines or not for our children based on medical or religious grounds, and many states don't get that. So we are a little unique in that sense here in Kansas. But one of the issues is one that comes up every time we talk about vaccines, and that's the HPV vaccine. What is it? What has it done, and is it actually benefiting individuals? Is there a lack of knowledge on it? There are a lot of women that I know from my generation, me being a millennial, and this really coming out with the women in my age level. I'm 30, and there's a lot of the high schoolers that I remember that ended up taking this HPV shot, and many of them are sick because of it and have lifelong life altercations because of this. Now they're starting to do this shot to boys, from what I hear, which is crazy. So we'll talk about some of that. I'm excited to have her on the show. She's the co-author of the HPV Vaccine on Trial, Seeking Justice for a Generation Betrayed. I'm excited to have Mary Holland on the show here. Mary, how are you today?
I'm great. Thanks so much for having me.
Hey, thank you. I really appreciate you coming on the show here. This is, as I mentioned, a very interesting topic with the HPV vaccine. Let's start at the beginning. What is the vaccine?
Sure. So HPV stands for human papillomavirus. And human papillomaviruses, there's about 200 different kinds. And several of these kinds are associated with different types of cancer in epithelial tissue, the kind of soft, moist lining tissue that you have in your mouth and that you have in the genitals. And so back in the early 1990s, there was an association found between two particular types of HPV virus and cervical cancer. So scientists said, let's develop a vaccine, and it sounds great, right? And so two different big vaccines have been developed, one by GlaxoSmithKline and one by Merck. The one by Merck is called Gardasil, and then they expanded it from 2 anti-cancer strains and 2 anti-wart strains to now 9 strains. So it's called Gardasil 9 is what's the only HPV vaccine on the market in the United States now. And it's against both genital warts and against cancer-related strains of HPV.
Very interesting. Now, when they put this on and they've started making individuals take this, have they seen or had they tracked or had they studied the results? Is it working? Is it good? Or have we seen negative side effects from this?
Well, so what the upside is they did clinical trials, and it went on the market in 2006. And what they saw in the clinical trials is if you get this vaccine, you're less likely to get certain types of cervical lesions that might go on to progress to cancer. They don't have to, but they might go on to progress. However, the clinical trials were not about cervical cancer. So this vaccine has actually never been proven to prevent any cancer ever. They used surrogate endpoints in the clinical trials, meaning like something that was a precursor to cancer. And what we do know is that sort of these lesions, these SIN2 and SIN3 lesions in countries where there's been high uptake of this vaccine, the incidence of those lesions is lower. But what we also know is that some children have and adults, boys and girls, as you point out, have died or have been seriously disabled after this vaccine. What we know is we use the title of the HPV vaccine on trial because there are literally lawsuits around the world against this vaccine. And in the United States, you can't bring a lawsuit directly against the vaccine manufacturer. If it's been federally recommended, you have to go to a compensation program. But in that compensation program, where 2/3 of all petitioners lose, a family, quote unquote, won a judgment where the girl died after Gardasil, and they found that it had caused her heart arrhythmias that led to her death. And in our book, we include a photo insert of several young adults who died. And sometimes it was like their incredible debilitation caused them to commit suicide. In other cases, they simply had a heart attack and they died. But the HPV vaccine has been reported to the adverse event reporting system to have caused more than 480 deaths up until now, and over 60,000 serious injuries. And we know that reporting system is not comprehensive. So there's clear problems. The benefits are uncertain. We don't really know if it's going to prevent cancer. And the clinical trials had a lot of problems with them.
Wow, there's a lot to that. The first question that I have is that if it hasn't prevented any type of cancer, even though that's what it was really intended to do with the shot originally, then why is it still recommended to say this is what you have to get, even though we think it's going to cure cancer and that was the purpose of it, along with the lesions and the other stuff there as well, but we really wanted to try and prevent some cancer. It hasn't done that, but we still recommend this shot. I mean, how can we do that?
Well, that's a great question. I mean, that's what marketing can do. So it has been proven to reduce these epithelial lesions that can go to cervical cancer, but they don't have to go to cervical cancer. So it's not been proven. And yet the rhetoric is, you must get this to prevent cancer. And now they're not only selling it to women who have cervixes, but to boys saying, well, this is going to prevent anal cancer. It's going to prevent penile cancer. They're now trying to sell it as preventing throat cancer, although it's never been tested for that. It was not approved for that purpose. So they're trying to expand their market. It was first just for girls and young women. Now it was then for girls and boys and young adults, and now it's for adults up to age 45. And, in the clinical trials, they had very few people in the target age group for where it's actually been sold to, like, starting at age 9 through, say, pre-teenagers. There were very few people in that age cohort. It was mostly older people who were in the clinical trials. And they didn't test this vaccine, as is common with vaccines. They didn't test it against a true inert placebo. In other words, they didn't give half of the people, sugar water or salt water, very mild solution, which isn't going to have any bad effect. They compared the vaccine group to a group that received everything in the vaccine except for the viral particles, the genetically modified viral particles. So they got the adjuvant, which was a very serious aluminum adjuvant. It's called AAHS. And AAHS is known to have very significant deleterious consequences. So, we think that these clinical trials were terribly flawed. And we know from young women in Denmark with whom we were in contact who participated in the clinical trials, they were lied to. They were told that the vaccine had already been proven safe, and they were told that it was being tested against the saline placebo. And neither of those things are true. So it's in this vaccine is Merck is being sued after a young woman, Jennifer Roby, did not receive compensation in the compensation program. She is suing Merck now in California state court for fraud. There's a class action lawsuit in Colombia on behalf of women. There's a lawsuit that's been filed in Spain. There's a class action lawsuit that's been filed in Japan. So this is a vaccine with serious problems, and I would just urge people to do their homework. I certainly recommend the book we wrote, The HPV Vaccine on Trial. We were really fortunate. We have a Nobel Prize winner, Luc Montagnier, who wrote the preface for our book, and he strongly believes in vaccines, that they can be safe and effective for everybody, but this is not it.
This is not the one for sure. No, we're talking with Mary Holland, co-author of the HPV Vaccine on Trial, Seeking Justice for a Generation Betrayed, also teacher at New York City Law School. When with so many different lawsuits that are actually in effect going after this vaccine and them being on trial so much, I mean, at what point will they say, you know what, we're taking it off the market until we actually ensure we do some other clinical trials, we verify things are good, and then we release it again? I mean, is that ever going to happen, or is this going to be a vicious cycle?
I think it will happen eventually. I think they're trying to sell as much as they can before that day of reckoning. I think eventually this will come off the market in its current form. I do. I think there will be a multi-billion-dollar settlement, and it'll come off the market, and it'll be retooled or not. It wouldn't be the first vaccine that was pulled off the market. But one of the things you mentioned at the beginning that's very important is we have a trend right now in California, in New York, in Maine, as well as in West Virginia and Mississippi, to give people no religious option to say no to a vaccine. So they have no, or a medical option. So in those states right now, vaccines are compulsory, period. And if this vaccine is added to those schedules, people won't have the ability to say no. So it's already mandated in 2 states, Rhode Island and Virginia, and in the District of Columbia. In those locations now, there are bases on which people can lawfully opt out. But we need to be very concerned. This is a very lucrative vaccine. The manufacturer makes more money on this vaccine than almost any other vaccine on the schedule. Sure. So there's a lot of incentives to mandate this vaccine. And so, for instance, in New York, where I am, they just passed a law saying that there's no religious exemption, and there's a bill to mandate the HPV vaccine. So I think this is something that should be on people's radars. This is a very serious medical intervention, and it has not, in my judgment, I'm not a physician, but I've really researched this, it's not been adequately proven safe.
Sure. Is there a percentage-wise that you've been able to track a percentage of people that have taken it that have symptoms related to taking it, that have an illness or a death or something, as opposed to ones that have taken it that haven't shown any signs? I mean, is there a pretty high percentage of those?
No, I don't think we have percentages. We don't really have that. What we have are reports of people who have been injured. One of the things that's striking, though, Andy, is how similar these reports of injuries are around the world. And they're very varied. So it can be dizziness, it can be headaches, it can be extraordinary fatigue. It can be what they call, when you stand up, your heart races, tachycardia syndrome.
What about like organ failures?
Yeah, and organ failure. I mean, and when we looked through all the clinical trial data, what we saw is that a lot of these conditions were reported early on, but they're buried in fine print and they don't get given to the physicians. Most physicians don't really know about what happened in the clinical trials. They just assume, oh, the FDA approved it and, the CDC recommends it, it must be good. Mm-hmm. And so sadly, most people's doctors really don't know a lot about this vaccine. And so I recommend that people give the book, The HPV Vaccine on Trial, to physicians. We have 100 pages of footnotes in this book. This is a very well-researched book. We consulted with many, many physicians and scientists. We're telling people what the facts are. The facts are, it was never proven to prevent cervical cancer or any other cancer. It reduces lesions that might lead to cancer, but that might not lead to cancer. Sure. And another thing that's happened with this is that young women now get this vaccine, and at least half of women in the young women are getting this vaccine, and then they imagine they don't have to go for Pap screening. That's not true. They still need to go and be checked because this vaccine doesn't cover all viruses that might lead to cervical cancer, other routes to cervical cancer. And there are many ways to reduce your risk of cancer. Don't smoke, eat lots of fruits and vegetables, have a healthy body weight, don't get pregnant before you're, an adult. I mean, those are all basic ways to prevent cervical cancer that are very, very, very well established.
Sure. No, that's very true. What's fascinating to me is, as you mentioned, the clinical trials and the fact that they didn't do the placebo for some, the fake one, and then give the real one to others and kind of compare and do the tests. I mean, that way. I mean, that's weird to me because all the clinical trials I know of, they always have that section of people that don't get any of it to be kind of the base, and then they kind of see the judgment and difference from there. So that's a little odd to me.
Let me explain that a little bit because it's very important that people understand this. So you're exactly right. In real science, you have your control where, nothing's going to happen from that. And then you have your experimental section. And what's different about vaccines than drugs, so for drugs, you always have a real placebo control, and they actually look at the results over a long period of time, sometimes like 5 years. Vaccines are not considered drugs legally. They're considered biologics, and they are not required to have placebo control. And there is not a single vaccine on the federally recommended schedule that had a true placebo control. Wow. So that gives you an idea of how serious the testing and safety issues are, and it gives you an idea about why there's so much of an assault on so-called vaccine misinformation right now. There's real censorship going on this topic because you know what? They have not adequately tested these products at all. They haven't tested them individually adequately, and they haven't tested them as a schedule adequately. And that's really what this is about, that they've not been adequately safety tested.
That's weird. Mary Holland, we got one last question before we let you go. I know we're running short on time here, but as we talk about the reason it's still on the market, the reason it's still being pushed, and even with lawsuits going on in the government looking at some of this and controlling, vaccines and different prescriptions and everything going on, is there a conflict or is there any type of interest the government has in this as well, which is why it's still on the market?
Yes. So scientists at the National Institutes of Health get royalty payments. The Office of Technology Assessment is getting the second highest, getting in the multi-millions of dollars every year from royalties for the HPV vaccine. The U.S. government is deeply conflicted when it comes to this vaccine.
Wow. That is really good to know. We need to do some more of this. I want to get you back on the show to talk some more about this a little bit later. It's Mary Holland, co-author, HPV Vaccine on Trial. You can visit them online, hpvvaccineontrial.com. Make sure to check it out. Mary, we appreciate the info. It's really great stuff. We'll do this again real soon.
Thank you. Great. Take care.
Absolutely. Thank you very much. 24 minutes past the hour. That's really fascinating stuff. We'll talk about that and more when we come back. The vaccines that are here in Kansas and the expansion of those, we'll talk about those and see where you stand on the vaccines and whether it's your choice or whether it should be mandated, and especially as it falls into categories like this where you're like, there could be some benefit or some downsides to this if we end up taking these kinds of things. We'll do that when we come back. Stay here on The Voice of Reason.
This is The Voice of Reason with Andy Hoosier.
The 4th of July weekend is almost here. Is your backyard kid ready? If not, here are things to do and to know to make sure your yard is ready to go. Step 1 is cleanup. Put away all garden tools, hoses, pesticides, and fertilizers. Also, any buckets or tubs which pose a drowning threat. Next, inspect play equipment. Over time, bolts rust or loosen.
Prepare soft landing zones, too.
If you have a pool or even a blow-up wading pool,
plan for continual adult supervision when in use.
And gate lock or empty when not.
Other things include safety decals on sliding doors,
at both adult and kid eye levels,
and checking decks and balconies
for loose boards, rotting wood, or weak railings.
Also move the barbecue away from play areas.
And supervise Fido, too.
Even the most friendly pooch can knock little ones down when being playful.
The two most important things for a safe weekend
are pre-inspection and kid supervision.
For more tips, visit our website at onthehouse.com.
Extra, extra, read all about it!
The brand new edition of Home Maintenance for Dummies is hot off the presses.
This new edition features the latest tips on how to tune up your home and make repairs to every part of your house, from the basement to the attic.
By combining step-by-step instructions and expert information, you'll learn how to conduct routine inspections, keep major systems running smoothly, and increase energy efficiency.
Home Maintenance for Dummies 2nd edition, written by us, the Carey Brothers, can be found at bookstores everywhere.
Home Maintenance for Dummies 2nd edition. Look for it today and get started maintaining your home tomorrow.
3 wide up the outside. Here comes Eric Jones.
The Monster Energy NASCAR Cup Series.
Door to door for the top spot at Daytona.
Marks the final July race in Daytona.
Nobody out of it yet. The top 6 all within striking distance.
And 40 of NASCAR's biggest stars want to make history.
This is going to be a finish we'll be talking about.
The Coke Zero Sugar 400.
A dozen cars will crash.
Saturday at 5:30 on the Motor Racing Network.
Your home for NASCAR is the Big Talker, KQAM.
It's Mary from Wildwood Cellars. Our pure elderberry concentrate is especially popular this time of the year, and people ask us what makes ours so much better than the rest, and I have to say it's how we make it, so that none of the good properties of the elderberries are ever lost. Nothing is ever dehydrated, and we add nothing to it. No sugars, syrups, alcohols, additives, or preservatives, just pure concentrated elderberry with less than 1 gram of carb or sugar, so you can take it straight or add it to any juice or drink of your choice. Online at wildwoodcellars.com.
It's that time of year when the grill is always the best cooking option, so stop by your favorite Yoder Meats location to pick up some great meat for the grill. Steaks, chops, burgers, brats, marinated chicken, we've got it all, plus a nice variety of specialty items that you won't find anywhere else. Our Yoder Meats bundles and butcher bags are great options for buying in bulk and saving, and for a special treat, how about our homemade cinnamon rolls, cakes, and cookies? Don't forget the snack sticks for a quick bite on the go. Follow us on Facebook for all the latest information and specials. Taste the old-fashioned flavor at Yoder Meats in Yoder and 3 locations in Wichita.
From Texas, Oklahoma, through Kansas and Nebraska to the Dakotas, Mid-America Ag Network will keep you informed of this year's winter wheat harvest. I'm Craig Mead. Listen daily as we deliver the most current, up-to-date information on the progression of the summer wheat harvest all through Mid-America. Summer Wheat Harvest Reports. They're brought to you by U.S. Custom Harvesters, Abilene Machine, P&B Insurance, your Midwest Ford dealers, the Kansas Wheat Commission, and Mid-America Ag Network. Bullish on agriculture.
Mayo Clinic Radio, Saturdays at 8 a.m. on the Big Talker, KQAM.
Minutes past the hour. Thanks again to Mary Holland coming on the show. Again, HPV. That's a scary topic. I mean, that's crazy to think about when it comes to an entire generation that's been forced onto doing something like that and has long-term effects or death because of a shot like that. So hopefully it's something that we can get a grasp of and we can get a hold of here, because we don't want that to happen any longer. It's educating ourselves and learning. And the fact is that there's so much money involved in it, then is it ever going to go away? Is there ever going to be a proper clinical trial of it? That's going to be what this is really all about. That's weird. That's crazy. It's scary. It really is, which makes you want to embrace the idea that you should have a choice to do the vaccinations, regardless of whatever vaccination that actually is. So we'll do that when we come back. I want to get your thoughts on the HPV along with the continuation, the growth of many vaccines here in the state of Kansas, and where you stand on some of those. But that one, have you taken the HPV, and do you think that it should branch out from just girls getting it at the middle school, young high school age to now boys as well, because they're trying to fight that cancer when it hasn't proven to actually fight cancer. So that's weird. We'll get your thoughts on that and more wrapping up the show today on a Tuesday. We'll do some patriotic stuff. We also have Donald Trump deregulating some things, which is always a good sign, and we'll talk about that as well. Big stuff going on here all across the board on The Voice of Reason on a post-Monday, getting you set for the 4th of July, getting you ready for the most patriotic day in the country. You know, there's a few big holidays of the year, and this is kind of the big one. So we'll do that when we come back. Stay here.
We can keep this going on. We'll make it work some way. And every step it makes us stronger every day.
Here's the latest from the KQAM News Center.
The House Ways and Means Committee sued the Treasury Department and the IRS in federal court today. They're trying to get the president's tax returns. Capitol Hill correspondent Lauren Fox reports the committee's chairman was forced to sue.
Richard Neal asked for it back in April. Then the Treasury Department refused. Then he issued a subpoena. Again, the Treasury Department refused. So here we are in court. This has been a long time coming, but exactly where Richard Neal always predicted this would end up.
The White House isn't saying why an event in New Hampshire at which Vice President Mike Pence was to speak this afternoon was abruptly canceled. Correspondent Sarah Westwood is at the White House.
We know that Vice President Pence is currently here at the White House. We don't know why that event was canceled, but the Vice President's office says they look forward to rescheduling the event at some time in the future.
A senior administration official says the cancellation is not related to the president's health or to national security. I'm Christopher Cruz.
Right now, Doctors Without Borders medical teams are operating in some of the most remote and dangerous corners of the world. When front yards become front lines, at the crossroads of conflict and epidemic, where there are no hospitals, that's where we operate. Your response is critical to our response in places where few others will go. That's where we operate. Learn more at doctorswithoutborders.org.
At Fidelity, we believe nothing should come between you and your money. So we're introducing zero account fees with zero minimums to open an account. All because we want you to invest with zero trade-offs. Visit fidelity.com/value to learn more. Zero account minimums and zero account fees apply to retail brokerage accounts only. Expenses charged by investments such as funds and managed accounts and for commissions, interest charges, or other expenses for transactions may still apply. Fidelity Brokerage Services, member NYSE, SIP.
Mid-America Network News. Kansas is reporting that it collected nearly $33 million more in taxes than anticipated for June. The State Department of Revenue says that Kansas collected nearly $782 million in taxes last month. The state's revised fiscal forecast had predicted a little more than $749 million in taxes, making the surplus about 4.4%. Prosecutors say a 35-year-old man was sentenced to more than 2 years in prison for a series of attacks on a Kansas internet service provider. The U.S. Attorney's Office says that Michael Golightly of Larned contacted an entity called DDoS City to arrange for a series of denial-of-service attacks on Nextech's computer. The company was hit by 3 denial-of-service attacks that overloaded its servers in March of 2017. I'm Stephanie Austin.
For the friendliest round at the best course in town, Cherry Oaks Golf Course.
Just a short 15-minute drive west of Wichita, nestled in the quiet community of Cheney, lies Cherry Oaks Golf Course. 18 challenging holes of pristine fairways and greens, married with a peaceful country setting, await you. Learn more or book a tee time at cherryoaksgc.com.
For the friendliest round at the best course in town, Cherry Oaks Golf Course.
Price sells cars at Rusty Eck Ford. And with our great financing offers, it's like we have a bank in our back pocket to help you get into a new car, truck, or SUV. So if you have good credit, bad credit, no credit, or a discharge bankruptcy, that's okay. If you have a job and make at least $1,400 a month, we can help you get a fresh start at Rusty Eck Ford, where Price sells cars.
And we understand sometimes bad things happen to good people. Come to Rusty Eck Ford and let us help you get a fresh start on your credit.
And now, this moment of quiet calm, brought to you by Rusty Eck Ford.
Here's your latest forecast for the Big Talker KQAM. Mostly sunny this afternoon, high today near 91. Partly cloudy overnight, low of 73. Slight chance of showers and thunderstorms tomorrow afternoon, mostly sunny with a high near 91. And Independence Day, slight chance of showers and thunderstorms in the morning, partly sunny with a high near 92. I'm Rich Summers. That's your latest forecast on Wichita's big station, the Big Talker, AM 1480 and 102.5 FM KQAM.
At 1:35, it's currently 89 degrees.
Join me, Alex Jones, Sunday evenings 5 to 7. Now back to the Voice of Reason with Andy Hoosier on KQAM.
When a headline just isn't enough,
Is that all you got?
it's time to wake up the right way.
All right.
This is the Voice of Reason with Andy Hoosier on the Big Talker, 1480 AM and 102.5 FM, KQAM.
Hey, there it is. Welcome into the Voice of Reason. Wrapping up the show today. Boy, it's been a fun one. It goes by fast. So fast. We got so much more to get to. We'll try and do it tomorrow and on Friday. We will be live on Friday. We'll have the best of on Thursday, so stay tuned in for that one. Welcome in. 316-721-8255, 316-721-TALK. It's open lines, too, for the last half hour of the show. Dave Ramsey coming up in just a few minutes and talking about your financial stuff, as we do on KQAM. I want to kind of wrap up this conversation with the vaccine thing because it is a very fascinating one, and I think it's very troubling, the fact that many states do not have the right to choose if they want to do their vaccines or not. Now, there are some where, here's my take on this. I like less government intrusion, so I think you should have the right to choose whether you want to do the vaccine or not. Many of them, it's common sense, and you should get them. Many of them you should look into a little bit. Many of them you should walk away from and never do, and, ever. Let me tell you something. I will not get a flu shot. I've never had a flu shot. We've talked about this before. I've never had a flu shot. I will never get a flu shot. I don't like it. I think that if we've been able to survive since, the ancient Egyptian times without a shot telling my body how to respond when the flu hits, then you know what? I'm going to be all right. Andy, there's super bugs out there today. Yeah. But you need to build up your immunity too. And look, there are some that have their immunity compromised. I get it. That's why there are people that get very sick. My wife, as you know, gets very sick as well. And she's never had one of those. I take that back. She did have it one time before we got married, but it didn't really do anything for her and didn't do her any good. And, she has a very weak immune system, She gets sick when anybody around her is potentially sick. So that is a concern. And is she qualified for one? Yeah, maybe. She doesn't want to get one, though. There are many that do need it because their immune system has been compromised so badly. But I'd like to try and keep mine as natural as I possibly can until I cannot any longer. So I'm going to not get a flu shot. I do not want my daughter getting a flu shot. Andy, she's young. Yeah, you know what? She's going to get sick. And I'm totally cool with her getting sick. She's going to have the sniffles. She's going to get the flu. She's going to get the stomach bug. Whatever she gets, she's going to get it. She's going to ride through it, and it's going to be all better at the end of the day. If she really needs something, we're going to break the fever by making her drink some whiskey. That's a joke, by the way. That's a joke. Thank you very much for people taking things way too seriously. Oh, man, 316-721-8255. And actually, Kansas is on the lower level of the number of vaccines that we actually get for our children. We're actually not too bad. We're sitting around the 80 to 85% rate for actually getting vaccinated for the most part. Except for a few of the other ones. The HPV actually in Kansas, we're at about a 50% rate. Only about half of teens actually get the HPV shot here in the state of Kansas. So I know that's a really hot topic, so I'd love to get your thoughts as we just talked with Mary Holland about the HPV. But when it comes to that one, when only about 50% of the teenagers actually have received that in Kansas, that means there are many people in Kansas that are very concerned about that shot and that vaccination. So I'm glad that we don't actually just jump on board and just run with it. So, and that's just the way with males, by the way. That's actually a high number for males aged 13 to 17, according to AAP.org, the American Academy of Pediatrics. 49% of males, high school males, 13 to 17 years old, have received the HPV shot in Kansas. I was not aware that number was that high. For women, it's at 55% in Kansas. Which means even then we're still concerned about the girls getting the HPV shot, but 49% of males in the state have received the HPV because now they've branched it out to men and to boys. So, wow. Wow, I'm surprised that's actually that high. If we're that concerned about it for girls at 55%, I don't know why that's so high for guys as well to get that shot. I would be very concerned about that. The other ones are floating around 89%. There was the other one, the influenza, the flu shot. About 53% of high school individuals end up getting that one as well. The rest of them are all up there. The big ones, I mean, the bad ones, you know, the measles, that sort of thing. Everybody kind of gets those. We're at about a 90% rate on those. But when it comes to HPV, in Kansas, 49% of boys are already receiving it, 55% of girls are receiving it, and I think we should be concerned about some of those. According to NPR, and the story they ran is that kindergartners, and some of the shots that kindergartners need to receive, as the little tykes, about 15% of Kansas kindergartners are missing those shots. Now, again, I want to look at them. My little voice of reason is about ready to go into kindergarten this year, which means she's probably going to need to go and get a bunch of shots done at some point. I want to look and see which ones they are. I remember these too. I remember going into the doctor's office, either at the doctor or going into the nurse's office at the school at the beginning of the school year and saying, okay, these are the laundry list of the shots you're going to get. And you're going to get boom, 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 boom. And you get all these and you have no idea what they are. You have no idea what they're all for. You're just like, okay, you're a little kid and you're scared and you get them and then you're all done. And I don't want to do that as a parent. I want to be one of those that's more on the cautious side saying, wait a second, is this necessary? Do we have to get it? And what are you injecting my kid for? I mean, what is this for? What's the purpose of actually getting this injection? So I am a little concerned. But now we're seeing this branch out, according to U.S. News, that the vaccine opponents here in Kansas have started a new movement because the state health department is requiring more immunizations for children in school daycare. The new rule would require children in school and daycare to be vaccinated against meningitis and hepatitis A. The state already requires immunizations against polio, the measles, German measles, whooping cough, mumps, chickenpox, hepatitis B. First off, can I ask a question here? How in the world are kids getting hepatitis? Is that a simple question? Can we ask a question here? How are kids receiving hepatitis? You're not getting tattoos as far as I'm aware. You're not sharing needles as far as I'm aware. You're not having adult activities without protection as far as I'm aware as kindergartners. Why do we need a shot for hepatitis? Is that something that maybe we can get a little bit later down the road? Maybe that's something we can get if we ever, God forbid, ever have to have hepatitis for some reason. I mean, isn't that what you get with hepatitis? Is you share a needle? Is it sharing fluids? I don't know. Do you share fluids and get hepatitis? Maybe you could. I don't know. I thought it was more like a blood thing, where it's a sharing a needle, or it's like, you know, some type of like adult activity that happens that you can share, that kind of stuff. I don't know, but hepatitis is not one that I think you get as a child. So why would you actually get hepatitis shots as a kindergartner in daycare or a preschooler? Why are we branching out to that? That one throws me off for a loop. Meningitis, I can kind of see that. Okay, maybe I can see that one for a discussion. But hepatitis, I would draw the line, personally, at least on that one, unless you have a decent argument, because I have not heard one on that. That's a little weird to me. But that's the branching out, is that we already have all the other ones. Now the Kansas Health Department's branching out, wanting these two other immunizations, and many people don't like it. Kansas, in line with the recommendations for the Advisory Committee for Immunization Practices, this is what they're recommending that we end up getting. The new rule would preserve exemptions from vaccination mandates for medical or religious reasons, but many people in the hearing also say the requirement gives the government way too much power, and they argue the vaccine skeptics are ignoring the problem and keeping it quiet. So we could take this a few different ways. Number one, we could say, well, you know what? First off, why trust a government like the state health department when they're a government agency? Do they really have medical practices? Do they really have the backgrounds, or should we have the choice to do what we want to as the consumer and as the private sector and as the parent who's actually getting your kid shots and injecting your kid with something where you're like, I don't know if they actually need all this stuff. I don't know that they really need everything here. Maybe not. Maybe we're going to go a little more on the all-natural level here. I mean, number one, you should have that right as the parent. Plain and simple, flat out. Now, there are some cases of breaking out of measles, for example, and we're seeing them on the East Coast a little bit in New York and New Jersey. We're seeing some in Ohio. We're seeing some in Minnesota, in the state of Washington, in California. We are seeing measles outbreaks because many parents did not get measles shots. And if that's the case, then you know what? Then maybe those parents should have thought about it, or maybe there's a way to treat it thereafter. But now we're seeing an increase in different diseases that used to be almost dead, but now they're rising back because people are choosing against the vaccinations. So there is an argument to get vaccines. And look, I'm personally not one of those anti-vaxxers like, no vaccines whatsoever. I am, however, one that I want to know exactly what it is and if there's a purpose to it rather than, well, we think that this is going to help. Like the HPV. We think this is going to help cure cancer, at least prevent certain types of cancer, even though we have no basis in actually saying that that's the case. Measles, when we know that you're going to get it and then you have a less chance of actually getting measles. And it's a disease that's killed a whole bunch of people. It's done terrible things. And then we can actually prevent that from actually happening. Right now, we don't have any shots that actually prevent cancer. If that's the case, everybody would be getting cancer shots, and therefore no one would actually be dying from cancer. So I find that a little silly to say that the HPV is going to be one that's going to do well. But with the number of shots that we do today, and then the increased rates in autism, the increased rates in different diseases and long-term organ failure and long-term problems that end up happening, it's because, and you can't argue against it, it's because of the shots. Now, the question is that whether you think that that's a legit risk to take because of the purpose of the shot to try and prevent another type of disease or cancer or whatever it may be. Is it legit? Is it worth the risk? And that's a choice for you, not for the government. The government should never have any say. Look, the government, here's how crazy the government is. The government has elected people that say things like this.
I am told this is a garbage disposal.
Let's just put it that way. If you have people that are elected officials that can say things like that, then I'm not going to trust them with my children on what kind of vaccines they should actually have. I'm just throwing it out there as an idea. Got to take a break. 47 minutes past the hour. Stay here.
The voice of reason with Andy Hoosier.
Mixing the livestock mostly lower in the grains and soybeans. That's the way we're going to wrap up Tuesday. Checking the ag futures markets. Brett Krotz at Schwiedemann Incorporated has the information for us. Good afternoon, Brett.
Good afternoon. Well, we ended up seeing some pretty choppy two-sided trade in the live cattle futures. We end up with the August live cattle unchanged at 104.10. October down 17 at 105.35. In the feeder cattle, some decent strength there with August up $1.35 at 138.37. October up 140 at 139.30. In the hog market, the July contract up $1.15 at 73.72. October down 15 at 73.05. Over in the grain markets, another rough day for the wheat. September Kansas City wheat down 11.5 at 432.5. December down 12 at 455. In Chicago, the September wheat down 8.5 at 503.25. December down 8 3/4 at 515.5. The September corn up 3.5 cents at 419. December up 3.5 at 426. September soybeans is down 10 1/4 at 886. November down 9 3/4 at 898 3/4, and then December oats up 3 3/4 at 288.5. December cotton up 70 points at 67.28. August crude oil down 233 at 56.76. August natural gas down 2.5 cents at 2.24. August gold up $20 an ounce at 14.0930. December silver up 5.5 cents at 15.35.5. The September dollar index down 16 points at 96.24, and the September Dow Jones futures up 7 points at 26,707. And for information on these and the other markets, please call us at Schwiedemann Incorporated, 1-800-272-9131.
My show isn't just about left and right, Democrats versus Republicans, liberals fighting conservatives. The Mike Gallagher Show is about life, family, friends, how you're going to pay for your kids' college, what information you need to get that promotion, how do you help your fellow man. It's also about standing up to power, whether that's the senator who's handing out favors to big donors or the race hustlers who divide us. Follow the Mike Gallagher Show at Facebook or Twitter at Radio Talker Mike and online at MikeOnline.com. It's the Mike Gallagher Show.
Mike Gallagher, 8 to 11, right here on the Big Talker, KQAM.
One thing you don't want associated with your harvest this go-around is downtime.
MJ's Truck Repair at exit 46 off I-135 in Moundridge can take care of all your harvest-related equipment. Combines, tractors, grain trucks and carts, all the machinery associated with your successful harvest this year. MJ's Truck Repair of Moundridge has on-the-farm emergency service. Roll your harvest downtime free with MJ's Truck Repair of Moundridge. 800-835-0069.
You make a million tough business decisions every day. So here's the easiest one of the year. Dell's Black Friday in July is back and bigger than ever. Get no-brainer deals on the very latest computers with Intel Core processors and a huge selection of servers, electronics, and more. All with free shipping on everything. To make your decision even easier, Dell's small business technology advisors can help you find just the right tech. Call 877-BUY-DELL. That's an easy call to make at 877-BUY-DELL or visit Dell.com/smallbusiness.
Jesse Soria of Cholitas Mexican Restaurant at Central and Tyler talks a little bit about success.
Each and every one of our customers that come in, we want them to come back. We want them to enjoy their meal. We want them to be happy. If for some reason we send you some food and let's say it doesn't taste right, let us know. I'm going to bend over backwards to take care of you. Our goal 30 years ago was to please every customer, and that is still our goal today.
Cholitas Mexican Restaurant, Central and Tyler.
Wichita's home for NASCAR is the Big Talker, 1480 AM and 1025 FM, KQAM.
Yeah, buddy. Welcome in. Wrapping up the show. 9 minutes to the top of the hour. I'm still baffled by the whole hepatitis thing for children. I don't get that one. As far as I'm aware, and correct me if I'm wrong on that one, but as far as I'm aware, hepatitis is transferred by the blood. So even if like a kid like trips and falls and there's blood everywhere and the other kids are like playing in it because they're weird like that, I don't know. Then how does a kid have hepatitis in the first place? Pretty sure they're not shooting up behind the alley. I don't know. That one's weird. I don't know if I like the hepatitis A, the hepatitis shot being given to young kids like that. Maybe you're seeing it in a different light, so I want to hear from you at 316-721-8255. Let's go to the phones here. Shall we? Line number 1. Good afternoon. Who's this?
Hi, Andy. It's Katie.
Hi, Katie. How we doing?
Hi, I'm fine. How are you?
I am living the dream, and I am ready for 4th of July barbecuing and that kind of stuff.
Yeah, same. I get off work that day, so we're not going to do any kind of cooking. We're going to...
That's what I'm
I don't know what.
You get to cook at home. Yeah, that's great.
Yeah, I get to cook at home. It'll be awesome.
That'll be super awesome. Something totally different.
It's really hard to cook at home. But anyway, that's not why I called you.
I love it. What's on your mind?
Well, okay, so I'm listening to you talking about these vaccines, right? And, I really feel like I'm not going to say that all vaccines are the worst thing imaginable.
Sure.
Because, maybe they're not. But, like, how die of measles, don't get me wrong, they did.
Mm-hmm.
But they were also, like, third world country type environment where now we have, medical, we can...
Yeah.
Natural immunity. If you get the measles as a child, your natural immunity carries you through the rest of your life.
Sure.
And in fact, science is saying now natural immunity can be passed down to your children if the got measles.
Sure.
As a child, she can pass down immunity to her children. But if you don't get natural measles, like they call it wild measles now, if you don't get that, then you're more susceptible to all kinds of cancers, autoimmune diseases, heart disease.
Well, you bring up something really interesting there. I wonder with these, and this goes back to maybe the traditional family values and stuff, and maybe, foster care and adoption to where you're not having your natural mother, because you're right, immunities and the immune system of the mother as you breastfeed with your newborn child ends up passing that immunity down to your baby. But if there's maybe separated families and there's not as many women either breastfeeding or even taking care of their natural child and the child goes off to adoption right away, do you think maybe years of that has now led to an increase in some of these other wild diseases because they weren't protected naturally as a newborn from their maternal mother at that time that was really essential for that baby at that time? I mean, maybe there's a link there as well.
I really think that there's something to that. I'm not going to claim to be a scientist unless you want to count food, but I just know that, we're injecting all of our children with all of these things, and we're seeing high rates of autism. We're seeing high rates of autoimmune diseases in children, fibromyalgia in children. What in the world? And
that's weird.
I don't understand how the government can say that we have to put a needle into our bodies, into our children's bodies. Okay, so it starts with the children.
Sure.
But pretty soon they're going to be mandating adults get vaccinated for stuff too, because all of those vaccinations, they wear off. They don't last an entire lifetime like your wild measles do.
Well, and not only that,
you
but
gotta
I mean,
get
stuff
a new
like
one every 5 to 10 years.
Yeah, you're right. I mean, we shoot these kids up with more and more and more every single year, and from the HPV that's very controversial, all the way to now to where all the way to now where we're getting like the chickenpox shot, which I remember as a kid, my parents taking me to my friends who had chickenpox, so I would get it, so that way I could build up that immunity, and I'd never have to worry about it again. And now we're getting a shot to try and prevent it. Like I don't know, that's weird to me.
That is weird, because how many people die of chickenpox? Absolutely zero.
Yeah.
Yeah, zero. So you're miserable for a couple of weeks.
Yeah, and then
but
you get it then, so that way you don't get shingles later.
Stuff.
Yeah.
Well, so they say, but who's to say that this chickenpox vaccine isn't going to cause shingles later on? We don't know, because that hasn't been out long enough to be tested in a population bigger than, my thumb. Compared to the world.
I don't know. So you're in the mind that this should be up to the parents, and we should, even regardless of medical or religious backing, that we should just have the right as a parent to decide. And 90% of them, or even 60% of them, should be like, yeah, common sense, whatever, get these shots, because that's what we've done for 100 years, and we know it works. But other than that, we should have a say on some of these and actually be able to decide yes or no.
Yeah, and you know what? If the vaccines work, then it should not matter if my kids don't get them, because your kids did. And if they work, then my kids don't, I don't understand.
Yeah, if they work and my kid gets sick, then your kid's not going to get it because you're already immune to it.
You're vaccinated, yeah.
That's a good point. I like that. That's interesting. Good stuff, Katie. I appreciate that very much. That's a really interesting thought. And you know what? That does bring up a whole other side of it that I never thought of, is let's go back to the main root. Let's stop putting the Band-Aid on it and saying, oh, there's an increase in these diseases. Let's do more shots, instead of saying, wait a second, why are there an increase of these diseases? The outbreak of measles, is it because there's a third world lifestyle? You're living in the side of the alley, and therefore, you're not in the best situation, and therefore you're going to get it, as opposed to being in a little bit cleansier thing if you learn to use soap when you wash your hands after you go to the bathroom. Is it because maybe a parental thing to where you're right? I mean, the immunity of a child is really dependent on the mother at that time, and the immunity of the mom actually defends for the immunity for the baby for the first 6 months because of breastfeeding. So if we get rid of that because the mother's not around because there's a break in the family, is the basic fundamental family value leading to more illness in society as well? I mean, wow, that's taking things to a whole deeper level that no one ever thinks about. We got about a minute before the end of the show. Let's sneak in one more phone call here, shall we? Line number 2. Good afternoon. Who's this?
Hey, it's Dave calling.
Dave, how are you, sir?
Hey, I'm good. Hey, we've gone round and round on vaccinations before, but the caller who just said, hey, if you vaccinated your kid and I don't vaccinate mine, I'm not a threat to you. Problem is vaccines can't start for a year. My granddaughter, who was only 9 months at the time, was exposed to measles. That was here in town. She was unvaccinated because she wasn't old enough yet. They quarantined her for a month. She couldn't leave the house, couldn't go to daycare, couldn't go anywhere. Now, as it turns out, she didn't get the measles, but she could very well have gotten the measles.
Sure.
So, that line of argument doesn't wash. Plus, then there are some people who are allergic and can't be vaccinated. So your unvaccinated child is a threat to other people. And where most of the expansion is coming from is, there are immigrants bringing some of these diseases back to this country, like measles and whatnot.
Sure.
But it's finding a home in these unvaccinated pockets.
Areas,
like Jewish community up in New York City that has issues with vaccination for religious reasons.
That's interesting.
But
Dave,
absolutely,
You're
for her
right.
to say that her unvaccinated child is not a threat to my child.
I hate to cut you off, my friend. We're out of time, but that's a very interesting point. We'll continue this on tomorrow when we come back here on The
Brian
Voice of
Davis.
Reason.
And this is Blake Davis reminding you that all Davis Liquor Outlet locations will be open normal business hours this 4th of July.
And we'd like to remind you to please celebrate responsibly and keep an eye out for the children playing in the streets.
Davis Liquor Outlet, each store independently owned and operated.
Come to Park City for the 4th of July. Car show, parade, inflatables, kids' water games, ice cream social, watermelon feed, face painting, RC car racing, concert with comedian Von Fry, Toto Chaos, and 10-day wish. Fireworks, and it's free. Come to Park City on the 4th.
Sponsored by Park City Convention and Tourism, Air Capital Delivery and Warehouse, Murphy Tractor and Equipment, Cox Business, Chisholm Trail State Bank, Midwest Scrap Management, and many more.
Hi, this is Brian Davis.
And this is Blake Davis reminding you that all Davis Liquor Outlet locations will be open normal business hours this 4th of July.
And we'd like to remind you to please celebrate responsibly and keep an eye out for the children